There's an elephant and donkey both on shaky ground, but we got the truth and we gonna shout it loud. From the healthcare to taxes, they can't hide from us. With a wink and a nod, we expose all the fuss. Educating the masses with a smirk on our face, bringing clarity to the headlines in this crazy race. From the White House to your house, we cover it all, putting humor in the facts, we're having a ball. Oh no, America, let's get real and laugh, teaching you the politics with a little bit of sass. Current events and headlines that blow your mind, only on Oh No America you'll find.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back. Welcome back. Oh, my goodness. I got to turn myself up in the thing here. Hello, everybody. Hello. It is so good to see you. Whoo! This is going to be an interesting one. So yesterday was the inauguration, and Trump wasted no time. As you guys saw from the thumbnail, a couple interesting things, right, happened yesterday. A lot of people carried this story, and it was in the thumbnail, and I just want to show you the full picture here, okay? So yesterday, during the swearing-in ceremony, Trump decided to not place his hand at any time on the Bible. Does anyone else find that odd? He's swearing an oath. When you go to court and all these other things, you can swear on whatever you want, right? But he has two Bibles there that Spy versus Spy, a.k.a. Melania, is holding for him. And he just left his left arm down there. Just, what's up, Suzanne? Yeah, just left it down there. Like as if it didn't matter. He's got the entire Christian right painting him in portraits with Jesus. We had Franklin Graham come out and do an invocation saying that he was from God. The Trumpety Trump is from God, okay? And yet, yeah, it's, yeah. He didn't do that. He didn't do that. I don't understand why he didn't do that, why he thought it was cool beans to, yeah. I'm still pondering it, guys. Yeah, exactly, Nash. Yet people were up in arms assuming that Obama was going to use the Quran when he's not even Muslim. So, guys, let's get it started out with what we really need here, okay?
Okay.
Holy Spirit, activate.
Oh no.
Holy Spirit,
no. Oh, no.
activate. Holy Spirit, activate. 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 Holy Spirit, activate.
Oh no.
I love that lady. I love her. I love her. I love her. Yeah, we need that. We need that. We need China's Holy Spirit activate. That's what she did before answering the final question. Okay. This is literally one of the Phillips sisters. It's China Phillips.
16 points to win.
Okay.
I'm going to ask you the same 5 questions you cannot
Hold
do.
on.
Okay.
Holy Spirit, activate.
Oh, no.
Holy
Oh,
Spirit,
no. Oh, no.
activate. Holy Spirit, activate.
Okay, guys, that's the same woman that sang "Hold On for One More Day." Do you remember that song? She turned into someone's Nana. I don't know what happened. And if that wasn't bad enough, we had this. Elon's so pumped up right now in the Capital One Arena. Here he goes. But hang on, but that's not good enough.
This is what victory feels like. Yeah.
Couldn't even comb his hair. Look at his hair. Couldn't even comb it.
And this was no ordinary victory.
Yeah.
This was a fork in the road of human civilization.
Right?
Okay. This
Is a fork in the road of human civilization. I just want you guys to take in the not so subtle Nazi references that are being made here.
You know, there are elections that come and go. Some elections are, you know, important, some are not. But this one this one really mattered. And
Yeah,
I just
really
want to
mattered.
say thank you for making it happen. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you for making it happen. This one really mattered. And then what's
Here.
that thing he does? Guys, why the what the fuck is that? That's not subtle. That's not a mistake. What was that lady who did the same thing last time at the RNC? I can't remember her name. One of the blonde, people at Fox News. And everyone's like, oh, that's not what she meant. That's not what she meant.
My heart goes out to you.
My heart goes out to you. This is a post-op. I want to skip this
Can we
because
roll with you, sir?
I don't know who that guy is. I want to go back to the Elon. Of course, it's gone now. Yeah. I think we need some Holy Spirit activate. Hang on.
Points to win.
Okay.
I'm going to ask you the same 5 questions you cannot
Hold
do.
on.
Okay.
Holy Spirit, activate.
Oh, no.
Holy
Oh, no.
Spirit,
Oh, no.
activate. Holy Spirit, activate. 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 Holy
That's just what we need. That's just what we all need right now. Some Holy Spirit activate. But the fact that he didn't place his hand on the Bible, I think is kind of a big deal. I know he's taking an oath. There's no legal requirement for the president to place his hand on the Bible. But I don't know that any other president in the history has done that. Okay, guys, I'm down here. I'm going to try it with just putting on my sweatshirt. But if I need to put on my sweatshirt, I will. So let's go over, guys. This is what happened yesterday. This is the official White House.gov site. So we're going to get it through the horse's mouth. Ending the weaponization of the federal government by authority vested in me as president of the Constitution, by the Constitution and the laws of the United States of America, and Section 301 of Title III, United States Code, it is hereby ordered as follows. Section 1, and guys, I did provide a link to this. Yeah. Purpose. The American people have witnessed the previous administration engage in a systematic campaign against its perceived political opponents, weaponizing the legal force of numerous federal law enforcement agencies and the intelligence community against perceived political opponents, like, Trump going on trial for actual crimes, in the form of investigations, prosecutions, civil enforcement actions, and other related actions. These actions appear oriented more toward inflicting political pain than toward pursuing actual justice or legitimate governmental objectives. Yeah. Preventing a felon and a rapist from coming into power. Definitely illegitimate. Absolutely. Many of these activities appear to be inconsistent with the Constitution. Actually, I think the Founding Fathers would have tossed you out of this country summarily, sir, decades ago. Including those activities directed at parents protesting at school board meetings, Americans who spoke out against the previous administration's actions, and other Americans who were simply exercising constitutionally protected rights. That is a dog whistle to his J6 homies. We're going to get to them. The prior administration and allies throughout the country engaged in an unprecedented third world weaponization. First of all, don't we usually say third world in reference to people who don't have resources? This is weird. An unprecedented third world weaponization of prosecutorial law power to upend the democratic process. But did they? It targeted individuals who voiced opposition to the prior administration's policies with numerous federal investigations and politically motivated funding revocations, which cost Americans access to needed services. What services did we lose under Biden? What services? What? I'm not understanding. The Department of Justice even jailed an individual for posting a political meme. And while the Department of Justice has ruthlessly prosecuted more than 1,500 individuals associated with January 6th and simultaneously dropped nearly all cases against Black Lives Matter protesters, which of those two groups, this is just a fun question for the chat, which of those two groups committed an insurrection and therefore treason? Was it the J6 insurrectionists or Black Lives Matter protesters who were peacefully protesting throughout the nation after George Floyd was strangled to death in public by a cop? Anyone? It's a really easy one. This is an easy one, guys. Oh, the J6 rioters. Yeah. When you commit federal crimes, you're going to get prosecuted. My God. Therefore, this order sets forth a process to ensure accountability for the previous administration's weaponization of the federal government against the American people. Section 2, policy. Yeah. It is the policy of the United States to identify and take appropriate action to correct past misconduct by the federal government related to the weaponization of law enforcement and the weaponization of the intelligence community. That means they're coming for the former, Attorney General, for sure. For sure. These are just the threat list, guys. This is just the threat list. Okay. Section 3, ending the weaponization of the federal government. The Attorney General, in consultation with the heads of all departments and agencies of the United States, shall take appropriate action to review the activities of all departments and agencies exercising civil or criminal enforcement authority of the United States, including, but not limited to, the Department of Justice, the Securities and Exchange Commission, the Federal Trade Commission. Over the past, just look at those three things that they're going to attack first. Okay? These are the three things they're coming after first. The DOJ, okay? The FTC, and the SEC. You know who they have to get through to get to the SEC and the FTC? And I don't think they're prepared for that battle. Her name is Elizabeth Warren. And also Katie Porter. So good luck. Good luck. Over the last 4 years, and identify any instances where a department's agency conduct appears to have been contrary to the purposes and policies of this order. So not of the law, not of the Constitution, of this order. And prepare a report to be submitted to the President through the Deputy Chief of Staff for Policy and the Counsel to the President with recommendations for appropriate remedial actions to be taken to fulfill the purposes and policies of this order. We're in the rewrite, guys. We have jumped the shark. We have jumped the shark. We are now in the Trump timeline. Do not get it twisted. Do not get it twisted. Why can't I hear myself right? That's better. Okay. I sounded weird, but now I sound better. Okay. B, the Director of National Intelligence, in consultation with the heads of appropriate departments and agencies within the intelligence community, shall take all appropriate action to review the activities of the intelligence community over the last 4 years and identify any instances where the intelligence community's conduct appears to have been contrary to the purposes and policies of this order. Keep that up. This order, not the Constitution, not the laws of the land. This order. Please don't let that leave your mind. And prepare a report to be submitted to the President through the Deputy Chief of Staff and National Security Advisor with recommendations for appropriate remedial actions taken to fulfill the purposes and policies of this order. The term intelligence community has the meaning given the term in Section 3003, Title 50, under the United States Code. C, in furtherance of these policies, departments and agencies are directed to comply with applicable document retention policies and legal obligations. Instances of non-compliance with document retention policies or legal obligations will be referred to the Attorney General, who we know will be Pam Bondi. Bondi, yeah. I'm very unhappy with that choice. Section 4, general provisions. Nothing in this order shall be construed to impair or otherwise affect the authority granted to law, to an executive department or agency or the head thereof, the functions of the director of the Office of Management and Budget, referring to the budgetary, administrative, legislative proposals. This order shall be implemented consistent with applicable law and subject to the availability of appropriations. This order is not intended to and does not create any right or benefit, substantive or procedural, enforceable at law, in equity by any party against the United States, its departments, agencies, or entities, its officers, employees, or agents, or any other person. The White House. Okay. So now, this is, yeah, that was one of the executive orders. So let me go. Oh, God. Why do they use this picture of him? Like, he looks like a bad guy in a horror film. It's bad. And there's J.D. Vance. Hi, y'all. Look at Melania. How much airbrushing is done to this photo? Her face is almost gone. Usha Vance is a cutie patootie. I don't got nothing bad to say about her. Okay, issues. Let's go to the issues. Here, I got some tissues for your issues. Where were all the proclamations? Okay. Okay, guys, you ready for all the things he did yesterday? Here we go. This is guaranteeing the state's protection against invasion. I feel like he's so full of shit with this stuff. It's causing me to choke just trying to read it. Here we go. By the authority, blah, blah, blah. Okay. An essential feature, I'm just not going to read that every time. The start of the proclamation. I hope that's okay with you guys. All right. I'm sorry, Verdandy. That's too good. That's too good. They did steal that. All right, here we go. First proclamation. Here we go. An essential feature of any sovereign nation is the existence of territorial boundaries and the inherent authority to decide who and what may cross those boundaries. The Supreme Court of the United States has described this power as a fundamental act of sovereignty, which stems not alone from legislative power, but is inherent in the executive power to control the foreign affairs of the nation. The reference there is the United States, Knopf versus Shaughnessy, and that's the case number from 1950. The Supreme Court has recognized the inherent right and duty of the executive branch to defend our national sovereignty, stating that when Congress prescribes a procedure concerning the admissibility of aliens It is not dealing alone with a legislative power. It is implementing an inherent executive power. Congress has, in establishing a uniform rule of naturalization, created a complex and comprehensive federal scheme in the Immigration and Nationality Act to control the entry and exit of people and goods across the borders of the United States. In routine circumstances, this is complex and comprehensive scheme can protect the national sovereignty of the United States by facilitating the admission of individuals whose presence serves the national interest and preventing the administration of those who do not. Hang on one second, guys. I have to... Talking to the teen. Let me see. Look in the drawer. I don't know if they're in the drawer or not. Or look, all right. Okay, but we're going to get into that. Let's actually get into that. Let's talk about that first here, okay? And this is a debated thing here. Tazzy, thank you for becoming a member. So executive orders are issued by the White House and are issued to direct the executive branch of the U.S. government. Executive orders state mandatory requirements for the executive branch and have the effect of law. Okay? So, according to the BBC, executive orders are a key tool for any U.S. president wanting to make their mark on the government policy. And it appears Donald Trump, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, we're going to get to all of his executive orders. But he's promised to sign more than 200. It's a written order issued by the president to the federal government, which does not require congressional approval. Orders range from dramatic reverses of policy, like Trump's approval for the construction of 2 bitterly contested oil pipelines in 2017, to ordinary business, such as Barack Obama's instruction on half-day closing for government departments on Christmas Eve in 2015. Authority for issuing the orders is rooted in Article 2, which states the executive power shall be vested in a president of the United States of America. Thank you to my timer. Okay. Sometimes orders are made during wartime to avert a domestic crisis. In February 1942, President Franklin D. Roosevelt signed an executive order that led to the creation of detention centers for about 120,000 Japanese Americans. Right? That wasn't passed by law in Congress, but all those people were detained under his order, right? Okay, an executive order has to work within the confines of the law, with, in theory, each one reviewed by the Office of Legal Counsel for form and legality. This does not always happen. If an order is deemed to stray outside of the boundaries of what is acceptable, it can be subject to a legal review. Congress can also pass a law to override the executive order, but a president still has veto over that. Okay? So basically, whatever he writes, as long as Congress doesn't say, fuck that, we're overturning that, which he could veto, what he writes is law. The new president could overturn them, just as Biden did with some of Trump's stuff. But we'll get to that. Buckle up, guys. We're in a new universe. Okay? We're in a new universe. Seriously, guys. Seriously.
5 questions you cannot
Hold
do.
on.
Okay.
Holy Spirit, activate.
Oh, no.
Holy
Oh, no.
Spirit,
Oh, no.
activate. Holy Spirit, activate. Activate. Activate.
That's what I'm saying, guys. Okay? We need that. We need that. We need that. All right, here we go. We'll get to that merely, I think, with these executive orders. Let's dive in. I'm clicking on the wrong screen, guys. That doesn't help. All right. That's the wrong. No, Nora. Okay, here we go. The Congress has, in establishing a uniform rule of naturalization, created a complex and comprehensive federal scheme in the Immigration Nationality Act to control the entry and exit of people and goods across the borders of the United States. In routine circumstances, this complex and comprehensive scheme can protect the national sovereignty of the United States by facilitating the admission of individuals whose presence serves the national interest and preventing the admission of those who do not, such as those aliens who pose threats to public health and national security. Prospective immigrants who use the visa system are screened for such health, safety, and security concerns while outside of the United States and are not permitted to enter the United States until they establish that they are eligible to be admitted as a matter of law and should be admitted as a matter of discretion. But screening under those provisions of the INA can be wholly ineffective in the border environment, where access to necessary information is limited for aliens who've traveled from countries around the world to enter the United States illegally, or when the system is overwhelmed, leading to the unauthorized entry of innumerable illegal aliens into the United States. Due to significant information gaps, particularly in the border environment and processing times, federal officials do not have the ability to verify with certainty the criminal record or national security risks associated with the illegal entry of every alien at the southern border as required by that section. Nor do aliens who illegally cross the southern border readily provide comprehensive background information from their home countries to federal law enforcement officials. Public safety and national security risks in such an environment are heightened by the presence of and control of territory by international cartels and other transnational, God, I couldn't read that word, I'm sorry, criminal organizations on the other side of the southern border, as well as terrorists and other malign actors. Let me do this here. I got to make this bigger, guys. I'm sorry. There we go. No, I don't want. What is that? Oh my God. I feel like I'm talking to my mom, trying to get her to do one thing. So the same is true for public health, where federal government currently lacks an effective operational capability to screen all illegal aliens crossing the southern border for communicable diseases of public health concern as required there. Effectively, no aliens who illegally enter the United States provide federal officers at the southern border with their comprehensive health information as a lawful migrant would. As a result, innumerable aliens potentially carrying communicable diseases of public health significance illegally cross the southern border and enter communities across the United States. Over the last 4 years, at least 8 million illegal aliens were encountered along the southern border of the United States, and countless millions more evaded detection and illegally entered the United States. The sheer number of aliens entering the United States has overwhelmed the system and rendered many of the INA's provisions ineffective, including those previously described that are intended to prevent aliens posing threats to public health. This ongoing influx of illegal aliens across the southern border has placed significant costs. It's just all blah, 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 blah. In joining the Union, the states agreed to surrender much of their sovereignty and join the Union in exchange for the federal government's promise in Article 4, Section 4 of the U.S. Constitution to protect each of the states against invasion. Here comes the justification for what they're going to do. I have determined, Trump did this all by himself, guys. He's a big boy. I have determined that the current state of the southern border reveals that the federal government has failed in fulfilling this obligation to the states, and hereby declare that an invasion is ongoing at the southern border, which requires the federal government to take measures to fulfill its obligation to the states. The INA provides the president with certain emergency tools. For example, it states that whenever the president finds that the entry of any aliens or any class of aliens into the United States would be detrimental to the interests of the United States, he may, by proclamation, and for such a period as he shall deem necessary, suspend the entry of all aliens or any class of aliens as immigrants or non-immigrants, or impose the entry of aliens any restrictions he may deem to be appropriate. This statute exudes deference to the president in every clause. Trump v. Hawaii. Further, the INA renders it unlawful for any alien to depart from or enter or attempt to depart from or enter the United States except under such reasonable rules, regulations, and orders, and subject to limitation and exceptions as the president may prescribe. Historically, presidents have used these statutory authorities to deny entry of assigned designated classes and categories of aliens into the United States through ports of entry. But if the president has the power to deny entry of any alien into the United States and to impose any restrictions as he may deem appropriate, this authority necessarily includes the right to deny the physical entry of aliens into the United States and impose restrictions on access to portions of the immigration system. So now he's going to deny people, he's going to deny them access to the actual system that's supposed to be working to make them legal. Particularly when number of aliens illegally crossing the southern border prevents the federal government from obtaining operational control at the border. The INA, however, does not, however, occupy the federal government's field authority to protect the sovereignty of the United States, particularly in times of emergency when entire provisions of the INA are rendered ineffective by operational constraints, such as when there's an ongoing invasion into the United States. The president's inherent powers to control the borders of the United States, including those deriving from his authority to control the foreign affairs of the United States, necessarily include the ability to prevent the physical entry of aliens involved in an invasion into the United States and to rapidly repatriate them to an alternative location. Only through such measures can the president guarantee the right of each state to be protected against invasion. Invasion. That's what we're going with now, guys. It's an invasion. It's not a crisis at the border anymore. It's an invasion. The power vested in me by the Constitution and laws of the United States, I've determined that the current situation of the southern border qualifies as an invasion under Article 4, Section 4 of the Constitution of the United States. Accordingly, I am issuing this proclamation based on my express inherent powers in Article 2, blah, 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 and in faithful execution of the immigration laws passed by Congress and suspending the physical entry of aliens involved in an invasion into the United States across the southern border until I determine that the invasion has concluded. Until Daddy says it's done. Okay. So here's the decree. Suspension of entry. That entry into the United States on or after the date of this order, which was yesterday, aliens engaged in the invasion across the southern border is detrimental to the interests of the United States. I therefore direct that entry into the United States of such aliens be suspended until I issue a finding that the invasion at the southern border has ceased. Imposition of restriction on entry for aliens invading the United States, I hereby proclaim that aliens engaged in the invasion across the southern border of the United States on or after the date of this proclamation are restricted from invoking provisions of the INA, like refugee status for any reason. that would permit their continued presence in the United States, including but not limited to this section, until I issue a finding that the invasion of the southern border has ceased. They're not going to tell you what the Section 2A, that is refugee status. Suspension and restriction that the entry into the United States on or after the date of this order, any alien who fails before entering the United States to provide federal official with sufficient medical information and reliable criminal history and background information. So I'm fleeing a war-torn country, but before I go, I got to make sure to go to my doctor's office if I ever went to a doctor and get them to sign, this person's healthy. Here's my vital statistics. Also, let me make sure I go to the local police and be like, can you guys tell them I'm a good person? Also, let me pay someone in this country for a background check. What the fuck? What the fuck? Who has all that stuff with them at all times? I mean, I've passed several background checks, guys. I'm never worried about that. But it's like, usually when you're going through a hiring process, the company pays for the background check. You don't got to do it. But now I'm fleeing a country and I got to provide it with, you know. Suspend the physical entry of any alien engaged in the invasion across the southern border of the United States and direct the Secretary of Homeland Security, in coordination with the Secretary of State and the Attorney General, to take appropriate actions as may be necessary to achieve the objectives of this proclamation. Operational actions to repel the invasion. The Secretary of the Homeland Security, in coordination with the Secretary of State and the Attorney General, shall take all appropriate action to repel, repatriate, or remove any alien engaged in the invasion across the southern border. Nothing in this proclamation shall be construed to impair or otherwise affect the authority granted to by law to an executive department or agency, blah, 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 blah. Yeah. So there's that one. Let's go back and see the other ones. Restoring names that honor American greatness, guys. By the authority vested in me, blah, 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 blah. It is in the national interest to promote the extraordinary heritage of our nation. And ensure future generations of American citizens celebrate the legacy of our American heroes. The naming of our national treasures, including breathtaking natural wonders as historic works of art, should honor the contributions of visionary patriotic Americans in our nation's rich past. Appointments to the U.S. Board of Geographic Names within 7 days of the date of this order. Each agency had with authority to appoint members to the board of the geographic name boards shall review their respective appointees and consider replacing those appointees in accordance with applicable law. Secretary of the Interior shall review and consider additional appointments, blah, blah, with respect to all applications for naming and renaming submitted to the newly constituted board. The board shall advance policy established in Section 1 to honor the contributions of visionary patriotic Americans and may update its principles, policies, and procedures as needed to achieve this policy. Where congressional action is required to establish a renaming in public law, following board approval on renaming, the board shall provide guidance to all relevant federal agencies to use the board-approved name in the interim in federal documents and achieve consistency across the federal government. Renaming of Mount McKinley. President William McKinley, the 25th President of the United States, heroically led our nation to victory in the Spanish-American War. Right? Where we conquered Mexico and we fucking took California and Texas from them. Hero. Under his leadership, the United States enjoyed rapid economic growth and prosperity, including expansion of territorial gains for the nation. President McKinley championed tariffs to protect the U.S. manufacturing, boost domestic production, and drive U.S. industrialization and global reach to new heights. He was tragically assassinated in an attack on our nation's values and our success, and he should be honored for his steadfast commitment to American greatness. In 1917, the country officially honored President McKinley through the naming of the North America's highest peak. Yet after nearly a century, President Obama's administration in 2015 stripped the McKinley name from the federal nomenclature, an affront to President McKinley's life. Actually, no. They renamed it Denali, which was the original name of the mountain, by the people that were slaughtered to take that land. So now it's back to McKinley. The national park surrounding Mount McKinley shall retain the name Denali National Park and preserve. How nice of them. The Secretary of the Interior shall work with Alaska Native entities and state and local organizations to adopt names for landmarks to honor the history and culture of the Alaskan people. How nice. Gulf of America. It's real. You guys thought that was a lie? The area formerly known as the Gulf of Mexico, blah, 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 is now officially renamed the Gulf of America. Just like that. Shall take all appropriate actions to rename the Gulf of America, the U.S. continental shelf area bounded on the northeast, blah, blah, blah. The Secretary shall subsequently update the GNIS to reflect the renaming of the Gulf and remove all references to the Gulf of Mexico from the GNIS. Additional action. Blah, blah, blah. So Mount McKinley's back, guys. And it's the Gulf of America. All right, let's see what else he fucked up yesterday. Designating cartels and other organizations as foreign terrorist organizations and specially designated global terrorists. Okay. Creates a process by which certain international cartels and other organizations will be designated as foreign terrorist organizations consistent, especially designated global terrorists. Okay. International cartels constitute a national security threat. I don't think anybody disagrees with that. Convergent between themselves and a range of extra hemispheric actors. You know Trump did not write that. From designated foreign terror organizations to antagonistic foreign governments. Blah, 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 blah. The controls, they do bad stuff. But who are they? What's happening? MS-13. Oh, we're going to go harder at MS-13. Okay. The policy of the United States to ensure the total elimination of these organizations' presence in the United States and their ability to threaten the territory, safety, and security of the United States through their extraterritorial command and control structures, thereby protecting the American people and the territorial integrity of the United States. Within 14 days of the date of this order, okay, so that's by February 3rd? Yes. The Secretary of State shall take all appropriate action in consultation with the Secretary of the Treasury, Attorney General, Homeland Security, National Intelligence to make a recommendation regarding designation of any cartel or other organization. Okay, so they're going to, within 14 days, they're going to boop, 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 like have little categories for these guys. Okay. Okay. Reforming the federal hiring process and restoring merit to service, guys. I have to put on my sweatshirt. Hang on. I'm still in mode. If I could read with my sunglasses on, y'all, I would have them on. I would literally have those sunglasses on right now. Right? Like, it is just... Oh, I'm getting that cuddly floof. I'm getting there. Cuddly floof, don't spoil my surprises. Jeez Louise. Hang on. All right. What are we doing to the reforming of the federal hiring? American citizens deserve an excellent and efficient federal workforce that attracts the highest caliber of civil servants committed to achieving the freedom, prosperity, and democratic rule that our Constitution promotes. But current federal hiring practices are broken, insular, and outdated. They no longer focus on merit, practical skill, and dedication to our Constitution. Federal hiring should not be based on impermissible factors such as one's commitment to illegal racial discrimination under the guise of equity, or one's commitment to the invented concept of gender identity over sex. Inserting such factors into the hiring process subverts the will of the people, puts critical government functions at risk, and risks losing the best qualified candidates. By making our recruitment and hiring processes more efficient and focused on serving the nation, we will ensure that the federal workforce is prepared to help achieve American greatness and attracts the talent necessary to serve our citizens effectively. By significantly improving hiring principles and practices, Americans will receive the federal resources and services they deserve from the highest skilled federal workforce, blah, blah, blah. Within 120 days, Assistant to the President for Domestic Policy, in consultation with the Director of the Office of Management Budget, the Director of the OPP, and the Administration Department and DOGE shall develop and send to agencies heads a federal hiring plan that brings the federal workforce only highly skilled Americans dedicated to the furtherance of American ideals, values, and interests. It's going to prioritize recruitment of individuals committed to improving the efficiency of the federal government, passionate about the ideals of our American republic, and committed to upholding the rule of law. Prevent the hiring of individuals based on their race, sex, or religion, and prevent the hiring of individuals who are unwilling to defend the Constitution or to faithfully serve the executive branch. Implement to the greatest extent possible the technical and alternative assessments as required by Chance to Compete Act of 2024. Decrease government-wide time to hire to under 80 days. Improve communication with candidates to provide greater clarity regarding application status, timelines, feedback, blah, blah, blah. Okay, listen, if hiring processes could be made easier, everyone would be happy. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. Shall include specific agency plans to improve the allocation of senior executive service positions in the cabinet agencies, the Environmental Protection Agency, OMB, Small Business, Social Security, National Science, OPM, and General Services Administration. The federal hiring plan shall provide specific best practices for human resources function within each head shall implement with advice and recommendations as appropriate from DOGE, Department of Government Efficiency, headed by Vivek Ramaswamy and Elon Musk. OPM shall consult with federal agencies, labor organizations, and other stakeholders to monitor progress and ensure the reforms are meeting the needs. Nothing is ordered, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so, yeah. I don't see anything. The title says merit. I don't see merit mentioned once in this order. They just want to make sure you're a good, dedicated drone. Ending radical and wasteful government DEI programs and preferencing. Here we go. The Biden administration forced illegal and immoral discrimination programs going by the name of diversity, equity, and inclusion into virtually all aspects of the federal government in areas ranging from airline safety to the military. This was a concerted effort stemming from President Biden's first day in office when he issued Executive Order 13985, advancing racial equity and support for underserved communities through the federal government. Vivek is already leaving. He's not going to I didn't hear that breaking news. He didn't like the gray shirt salute that Elon did. Did he find that to be racially charged? Oh, I'll check. I'll check if it out. Let me finish this up here. Pursuant to Executive Order 13985 and follow-on orders, nearly every federal agency and entity submitted equity action plans to detail the ways that they have furthered DEI's infiltration of the federal government. The public release of these plans demonstrated immense public waste and shameful discrimination that ends today. Americans deserve a government committed to serving every person with equal dignity and respect, and expending precious taxpayer resources only on making America great. I thought he was at the inauguration. Okay, now we're having a whole Vivek debate here. Please hold. Okay. He's going to launch a campaign for governor of Ohio early next week. Is parting ways with the president. Ramaswamy's interest in seeking his office in his home state is not a surprise, but his decision to leave Doge now removes him from the high command of federal spending watchdog group he was supposed to run with Elon Musk. But I thought he was at the fucking thing. Yeah, he was there. He was there at the inauguration. No, but he was there at the inauguration. I know. So he didn't want Ramaswamy. He can't sit next to a brown man who might not let him make America great again the way he wants. What the fuck? I was like, my garage door's opening. It's an invasion. No, it's just my teen doing exact. Can you get some headphones or something? Why don't you get some where are your headphones? My headphones are there. Okay, why don't you go get those? You look just crazy walking around on speakerphone like you're an old lady in the mall. Come on. Well, like in the stores are like always on the phone. Can you just get headphones and be polite? Can you not be those people? I have to listen to my sister. Can you just do what I said? Thank you. That's enough. Okay. Good Lord. He got dodged out. The public release of these plans demonstrated immense public waste and shameful discrimination that ends today. I read that already. The director of the office, the OMB, assisted by the Attorney General and Director of OPM, shall coordinate the termination of all discriminatory programs, including illegal DEI, and diversity, equity, inclusion, and accessibility mandates, policies, programs, preferences, and activities in the federal government under whatever name they appear. To carry out this directive, the Director of OPM, with the assistance of the Attorney General as requested, shall review and revise as appropriate all existing federal employment practices, union contracts, good luck with that, and training policies or programs to comply with this order. Federal employment practices, including federal employee performance reviews, shall reward individual initiative, skills, performance, and hard work, and shall not, under any circumstances, considered DEI or DEIA factors, goals, policies, mandates, or requirements. Each agency, department, or commission head, in consultation with the Attorney General, the Director of OMB, the Director of OPM, as appropriate, shall take the following actions within 60 days of this order. Terminate, to the maximum extent allowed by law, all DEI, DEIA, and environmental justice offices and positions, including but not limited to Chief Diversity Officer positions, all equity action plans, equity actions, initiatives, or programs, equity related grants or contracts, and all DEI or DEIA performance requirements for employees, contractors, or grantees. Provide the Director of OMB with a list of all agency or department DEI, DEIA, environmental justice positions, committees, programs, services, activities, budgets, and expenditures in existence on November 4th, 2024, and an assessment of whether these positions, committees, programs, services, activities, budgets, and expenditures have been misleadingly relabeled in an attempt to preserve their pre-November 4th function. We're rewinding the clock to last year. Federal grantees who receive federal funding to provide or advance DEI or environmental justice programs, services, or activities since January 20th, 2021. He wants a list of that. Direct the deputy agency departments or head to assess operational impact, the number of new DEI hires, and cost of the prior administration's DEI and environmental justice programs and policies, and recommend actions such as congressional notifications to align agency department programs, activities, policies, regulations, guidance, employment practices, enforcement activities, contracts, including set-asides, grants, consent orders, and litigating positions with the policy of equal dignity and respect identification in Section 1 of this order. The agency or department head of the Director of OMB shall jointly ensure that the deputy agency or department head has the authority and resources needed to carry out this directive. To inform the president so that he may formulate appropriate and effective civil rights policies. For the executive branch, the assistant to the president for domestic policy shall convene a monthly meeting attended by the Director of OMB, the Director of OPM, and each deputy agency or department head. 2, hear reports on the prevalence and economic and social costs of DEI and environmental justice in agency or department programs, activities, policies, regulations, yada, yada, yada. Discuss any barriers to measures to comply with this order. Monitor and track agency and department progress and identify potential areas for additional presidential or legislative action to advance the policy of equal dignity and respect. Severability. If any provision of this order or the application or any provision under any person's circumstances held to be invalid, the remainder of this order and the application of its provisions in any other person's or circumstances shall not be affected. Just because one person's like, not me, motherfucker, everybody else still goes under. Blah, 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 blah. Cover our ass. So we just eliminated DEI. There we go. This is going to be a fun one. Buckle up, ladies. Defending women. I need a real drink, I think. There is no Jack in this Coke, but I feel like there should be. Okay. Defending women from gender ideology extremism and restoring biological truth to the federal government. Here we go. Across the country, hang on. I have like a floaty or something in my eyeball. My eyes are no, it came back. My eyes don't even want to read this, guys. My eyes are trying to revolt. It's an invasion. Across the country, ideologues who deny the biological reality of sex have increasingly used illegal and other socially coercive means to permit men to self-identify as women and gain access to intimate single-sex spaces and activities designated for women, from women's domestic abuse shelters to women's workplace showers. This is wrong. Efforts to eradicate the biological reality of sex fundamentally attack women by depriving them of their dignity, safety, and well-being. The erasure of sex in language and policy has a corrosive impact, not just on women, but on the validity of the entire American system. Basing federal policy on truth is critical to scientific inquiry, public safety, morale, and trust in government itself. This unhealthy road is paved by an ongoing and purposeful attack against the ordinary and long-standing use and understanding of biological and scientific terms, replacing the immutable biological reality of sex with an internal fluid and subjective sense of self, unmoored from biological facts. Invalidating the true and biological category of woman improperly transforms laws and policies designed to protect sex-based opportunities into laws and policies that undermine them, replacing long-standing cherished legal rights and values with an identity based in co-hate social concept. Accordingly, my administration will defend women's rights and protect freedom of conscience by using clear and accurate language and policies that recognize women are biologically female and men are biologically male. It is the policy of the United States to recognize two sexes, male and female. These sexes are not changeable and are grounded in fundamental and incontrovertible reality. Under my direction, the executive branch will enforce all sex protective laws to promote this reality, and the following definitions shall govern all executive interpretation and application of federal law and administration policy. A, sex shall refer to an individual's immutable biological classification as either male or female. Sex is not a synonym for and does not include the concept of gender identity. Women or woman and girls or girl shall mean adult and juvenile human females, respectively. Men or man and boys or boy shall mean adult and juvenile human males, respectively. Female means a person belonging at conception to the sex that produces the large reproductive cell. Male means a person belonging at conception to the sex that produces the small reproductive cell. Gender ideology replaces the biological category of sex with an ever-shifting concept of self-assessed gender identity, permitting the false claim that males can identify males can identify as, I think they meant to put women in there, but they left out that word, and thus identify as and thus become women, and vice versa, and requiring all institutions of society to regard this false claim as true. Gender ideology includes the idea that there is a vast spectrum of genders that are disconnected from one's sex. Gender ideology is inherently inconsistent in that it diminishes sex as an identifiable or useful category, but nevertheless maintains that it is possible for a person to be born in the wrong sexed body. Gender identity reflects a fully internal and subjective sense of self, disconnected from biological reality and sex, and existing on an infinite continuum that does not provide meaningful basis for identification and cannot be recognized as a replacement for sex. Section 3. Recognizing women are biologically distinct from men. Within 30 days of the date of this order, the Secretary of Health of Humans and Human Services shall provide to the U.S. government, external partners, and the public clear guidance expanding on the sex-based definition set forth in this order. Each agency and all federal employees shall enforce laws governing sex-based rights, protections, opportunities, and accommodations to protect men and women as biologically distinct sexes. Each agency should therefore give the term sex, male, female, men, women, boys, and girls the meanings set forth in Section 2 of this order when interpreting or applying statutes, regulations, or guidance, and in all other official agency business documents and communications. When administering or enforcing sex-based distinctions, every agency and all federal employees acting in an official capacity on behalf of their agency shall use the term sex and not gender in all applicable federal policies and documents. The Secretaries of State and Homeland Security and the Director of Office of Personnel Management shall implement changes to require that government-issued identification documents, including passports, visas, and global entry cards, accurately reflect the holder's sex, as defined under Section 2 of this order, and the Director of the Office of Personnel Management shall ensure that applicable personnel records accurately report federal employees' sex, as defined by Section 2 of this order. So I want to pause there for a second because it does get worse. So for the young people who identify, a lot of them identify as non-binary here in Oregon right now. I guess that just changed yesterday. You could put on your driver's license and even your real ID, X as your gender. You could do that on a birth certificate, which will mean that you are no longer allowed to do that in this state. Because let's say you do. Let's say you went through the whole hullabaloo and you changed your gender from female to X. Okay. And now you have a birth certificate that reflects that. No, you don't. That's basically what this is saying. If you have a driver's license that says non-binary, no, you don't. It will not be valid for federal travel. And if you haven't gotten your real ID yet, you will have to go get a real ID that says either male or female on it. There will be no other option. Tesoro is my tequila, by the way. Tesoro Blanco. There's another one that I like too, but I forget the name of it right now. I'll bring it down, maybe. Maybe it's time for some shots. Okay. Just to really understand that. Terry Mana's okay. I don't like it. I know that's The Rock's, and I bought it to try it out, but it wasn't that great. I know a lot of people who are non-binary, and guess what? No, you're not, according to the federal law. I mean, and if you guys think this is bad now, I don't know how many of you guys have been watching the show Silo. I just finished the season finale of season 2, and now I want to read the books. There's so much of these dystopian things. Oh, actually, hang on one second. Sorry, that was an important text I needed to answer. I do. Guys, don't you love it when your healthcare provider texts you and like, you have an appointment? And I'm like, I do? Okay. I don't remember what that's for. Oh, I know what that's for now. Never mind. Just kidding. Okay. Agencies shall remove all statements, policies, regulations, forms, communications, or other internal or external messages that promote or otherwise inculcate gender ideology, and shall cease issuing such statements, policies, regulations, forms, communications, or other messages. Agency forms that require an individual's sex shall list male or female and shall not request gender identity. We're just going to take that off all the forms. Agencies shall take all necessary steps as permitted by law to end federal funding of gender ideology. The prior administration argued that the Supreme Court's decision in Bostock v. Clayton County, which addressed Title VII of the Civil Rights Act, requires gender identity-based access to single-sex spaces under, for example, Title IX of the Educational Amendments Act. This position is legally untenable and has harmed women. I can't recall one single case of somebody going to the bathroom of a oh I need to not have those come up. Let me put my That's all right. You guys can see that I got a nice message from my friend. It's all right. Where is my settings? I reset my computer, guys, and now half my shit is wrong because my stuff was so messed up. I had to like hard reset my computer to kind of, wow, that seems unnecessary. No. Where did my other one go? Okay. Focus. I would like to turn it on. I don't know. Please just turn it on. Like nothing works now. Everything. Apple, I love you. Okay. How do I? No, I don't. Anyway, guys, it's fine. It's fine. Everything's fine. Everything's fine. Everything's fine. Everything's fine. Everything's fine. The Attorney General shall therefore immediately issue guidance to agencies to correct the misapplication of the Supreme Court's decision to sex-based distinctions in agency activities. In addition, the Attorney General shall issue guidance and assist agencies protecting sex-based distinctions which are explicitly permitted under constitutional and statutory precedent. Federal funds shall not be used to promote gender ideology. Each agency shall assess. Just do it this way. There we go. Grant conditions and grantee preferences and ensure grant funds do not promote gender ideology. The Attorney General and Secretary of Homeland Security, the Homeland Security Secretary, y'all, shall ensure that males are not detained in women's prisons or housed in women's detention centers, including through amendment as necessary and interpretation guidance regarding the Americans with Disabilities Act. So, like, I have so many questions. What about somebody like, okay, we've all seen Orange is the New Black. Laverne Cox played a prisoner. What about somebody like Laverne Cox? You're going to put Laverne Cox in a male prison? I saw your thing, Jennifer, but I'm going to do it. The Secretary of Housing and Urban Development, for some reason, shall prepare and submit for notice and comment rulemaking a policy to rescind the final rule entitled Equal Access in accordance with an individual's gender identity in community planning and development programs, and shall submit for public comment a policy protecting women seeking single-sex rape shelters. The Attorney General shall ensure that the Bureau of Prisons revises its policies concerning medical care to be consistent with this order, shall ensure that no federal funds are expended for any medical procedure, treatment, or drug for the purpose of conforming to an inmate's appearance to that of the opposite sex. So trans people would be denied their hormones and no inmate who's incarcerated will get any gender affirming care whatsoever. Okay, good. Just done. The Attorney General shall ensure that the Bureau of Prisons revises its policies concerning medical care to be consistent with this order, and shall ensure that no federal funds are expended for any medical procedure, treatment, or drug for the purpose... Oh, I read that already. I'm so out of it. I read that already. I'm so enraged. I don't know. Agencies... Jennifer, you're going to get a lot of offers, honey. Agencies shall effectuate this policy by taking appropriate action to ensure that inmate spaces designed for women, girls, or females, or for men, boys, or males are designated by sex and not identity. Protecting rights. Oh, is that what this is doing? The Attorney General shall issue guidance to ensure the freedom to express the binary nature of sex and the right to single-sex spaces in workplace and federally funded entities covered by the Civil Rights Act of 1964. In accordance with that guidance, the Attorney General, Secretary of Labor, and the General Counsel and Chair of the Employment Opportunity Commission and each other agency head with enforcement responsibilities under the Civil Rights Act shall prioritize investigations and litigation to enforce the rights and freedoms identified. So when they say express the binary nature of sex, they are omitting, of course, non-binary. There is no more non-binary. You're non-binary? No, you're not. Within 30 days of this order, the Assistant to the President for Legislative Affairs shall present to the President proposed bill text to codify the definitions in this order. Within 120 days, each agency head shall submit an update on implementation of this order to the President through the Director of the Office of Management and Budget. That update shall address changes to agency documents, including regulations, guidance, forms, and communications made to comply with this order. Agency imposed requirements on federally funded entities, including contractors, to achieve the policy of this order. The requirements of this order supersede conflicting provisions in any previous executive orders or presidential memoranda. All of these, here we go. Everything that the Biden administration put in are hereby rescinded. And the White House Gender Policy Council established by executive order is dissolved. Bye, Felicia. Each agency head shall promptly rescind all guidance document inconsistent with the requirements of this order, or the Attorney General's guidance issued pursuant to this order, or rescind such parts of such documents that are inconsistent in such manner. Such documents include, but are not limited to, the White House Toolkit on Transgender Equality, the Department of Education's guidance documents, including Title IX regulations, pointers for implementation, U.S. Department of Education Toolkit, creating inclusive and non-discriminatory school environments for LGBTQ students, U.S. Department of Education supporting LGBTQ youth, families, in school, Department of this is in Spanish, supporting intersex students. We're going to deny that's biology. People are born that way. An intersex person can't help it. They were born with both sets of stuff. A resource for students, families, and educators. So what this is going to allow, just this one sentence right here, is going to allow parents and give autonomy to a doctor in a room where a child is birthed to determine a child's destiny from that point forward, before any sexual organs even have a chance to develop. If the parents say, ooh, we're really hoping for a boy it is. Ooh, we're really hoping for a girl. Okay. Supporting transgender youth in school. Nope. Don't. Fuck those kids. Fuck them kids. Letter to educators on Title IX's 49th anniversary. This is erased. Confronting anti-LGBTQ harassment in schools, a resource for students and families. Fuck that. This is giving bullies and anyone autonomy to harass youth. Enforcement of Title IX education amendments with respect to discrimination based on sexual orientation. Oh, here we go. Here comes the gays. And gender identity. Education in a pandemic. The disparate impacts of COVID. Yeah, we're just going to get rid of that. We're going to erase what Trump did to our children during the pandemic. Fuck that. Back to school message for transgender students from the U.S. Department of Justice. Fuck that. Attorney General's memorandum of March 26th entitled Application of this Title IX Education Amendments in 1972, Equal Employment Opportunities Commission. Guidance on harassment in the workplace. Fuck harassment in the workplace. Boop. Nothing in this order, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, I tried to have a talk with my kids about this morning. It did not go well. Because a lot of my children's friends identify as all kinds of things, right? and are very adamant about it. School is not going to go well. I gave a warning to my high school students today. I said, no matter what, if something happens, if you guys are bullied, whatever, I want to know about it. I want to know about it immediately. I want to know. Oh, here we go. It's Doge time. He just did it. Elon doesn't have to go through a vetting process. He's in like Flynn. Doge agenda. Modernizing federal technology and software to maximize governmental efficiency and productivity. Not only is Elon going to make very big decisions about personnel, but he's going to fuck with the entire motherboard of America's federal government system. If you guys think Twitter's a fucking mess, just wait until Elon is fully in charge of that. Agency has the meaning given to it in Section 551, blah, 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 except that such term does not include the executive office of the president of any components thereof. Agency head means the highest ranking official, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so the Doge structure. Reorganization and renaming of the United States Digital Service. The United States Digital Service is hereby publicly renamed as the United States Doge Service. Oh my God. This is so much worse. This is so much worse than what we thought. There shall be a USDS administrator established in the executive office of the president who shall report to the White House Chief of Staff. There is further established within the USDS, the U.S. Doge Service temporary organization shall be headed by the USDS administrator and shall be dedicated to advancing the president's 18-month Doge agenda. What is that? What is that? I'm sorry, guys. This is so much worse than him. Full and prompt access to all unclassified agency records, software systems, and IT systems. It's going to commence a software modernization initiative to improve the quality and efficiency of a government-wide software network, infrastructure, and information technology systems, and to promote interoperability between agency networks and systems, ensure data integrity, and facilitate responsible data collection and synchronization. No, Doge is an internet meme, then a Bitcoin was named after it, and it's a real thing now. Guys, you know when you go on a website like I just did on here and it asks you if you want to accept the cookies or not, right? Which are actually like tracking cookies to track you from when I go to this website back over to whatever next website I open in my browser, right? It's the same kind of technology that we're talking about here. where you know when you've been scrolling on Amazon looking for like a cushy pair of slippers, and then you go to Instagram and all of a sudden your Instagram feed is filled with people selling you cushy slippers. That's not by accident. Or even sometimes when you're just talking about a subject and you start to Google it and the whole thing pops up. That's not by accident. Our devices, our computers are listening. The tabs that we open and use in whatever browser you use are talking to the entire internet and sending that information out about you to the internet that is being bought and sold to serve you up with these ads that are popping up on my screen right now. Right? We are putting Elon Musk in charge of bringing the United States government departments into full matrix sync together, which frankly has needed to be done for a long time. It's gross that the FBI database doesn't talk to the Department of Homeland Security and all this stuff. And so that data does need to be synced, okay? So that, let's say you have a guy in Poughkeepsie and he commits a rape, okay? And he gets jailed, he gets released from jail, and he moves from Poughkeepsie now to California. And he commits a rape. Now, what normally happens is California is like, oh, and then they have to run like a whole database check and blah, 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 blah. But what should have happened when he moved to California is when he goes to register, everybody knows everything about him. Right? If you're a criminal, and you sacrifice part of your privacy. However, we are all now, that's gone now. Yeah. No, efficiency, it is going to be more efficient, Jane. I don't disagree, and it's something that should have happened a long time ago. This man, however, is a madman. I'm referring to Elon Musk. I will say it now while it's still legal. But yeah. The U.S. Doge Service Temporary Organization shall terminate on 4th of July, 2026. The termination of the U.S. Doge Service Temporary Organization shall not be interpreted to imply the termination, attenuation, or amendment of any other authority or provision of this order. Okay. In consultation with the USDS, each agency head shall establish within the respective agency a Doge team of at least 4 employees, which may include special government employees hired or assigned within 30 days of the date of this order. Agency heads shall select the Doge team members in consultation with the USDS administrator. Each Doge team will typically include 1 Doge team lead, 1 engineer, 1 human resources specialist, and 1 attorney. Agency heads shall ensure that the Doge team leads coordinate with their work with the USDS and advise their respective agency heads on implementing the President's Doge agenda. Modernizing federal technology software to maximize efficiency and productivity shall commence a software modernization initiative to improve the quality and efficiency of government-wide software, network infrastructure, and information technology systems. Among other things, the USDS administrator shall work with agency heads to promote interoperability between agency networks and systems, ensure data integrity, and facilitate responsible data collection and synchronization. Agency heads shall take all necessary steps in coordination with the USDS administrator and to maximize extent and the maximum extent consistent with law to ensure USDS has full and prompt access to all unclassified agency records, software systems, and IT systems. This executive order displaces all prior executive orders and regulations insofar as they are subject to direct presidential amendment that might serve as a barrier to providing USDS access to agency records and systems as described above. Nothing, blah, 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 blah. Guys, there are 5 pages of these. America First Polity. Directive to the Secretary of State. From this day forward, the foreign policy of the United States shall champion core American interests and always put America and American citizens first. As soon as practicable? I don't think that's a word. Am I saying it wrong? Anyway, the Secretary of State shall issue guidance bringing the Department of State's policies, programs, personnel, and operation in line with an American first foreign policy, which puts America and its interests first. Nothing in this, blah, blah, blah. America first. Not even a definition of what the fuck that means. America first. Protecting the United States from foreign terrorists and other national security and public safety threats. It is the policy of the United States to protect its citizens from aliens who intend to commit terrorist acts. Yeah, duh. Threaten our national security and espouse hateful ideology or otherwise exploit the immigration laws for malevolent purposes. To protect Americans, the United States must be vigilant during the visa issuance process to ensure that those aliens approved for admission to the United States do not intend to harm Americans or our national interests. More importantly, the United States must identify them before their admission or entry into the United States. And the United States must ensure that admitted aliens and aliens otherwise already present in the United States do not bear hostile attitudes toward its citizens, culture, government, institutions, or founding principles, and do not advocate for, aid, or support designated foreign terrorists and other threats to our national security. I saw somebody else that said that ICE has already started. Was that you, Jane? Saying that ICE has already started roundups. Oh, now what? You're right on it. The biggest threat isn't foreign. It just got inaugurated. Yep. So people already here, people trying to get here. All right, got it. Enhanced vetting and screening across agencies. Here we go. Secretary of State, in coordination with the Attorney General, the Secretary of Homeland Security, and the Director of National Intelligence, shall promptly identify all resources that may be used to ensure that all aliens seeking admission to the United States or who are already in the United States are vetted and screened to the maximum degree possible. Determine the information needed from any country to adjudicate any visa admission or other benefit under the INA for one of its nationals and to ascertain whether the individual seeking the benefit is who the individual claims to be and that the individual is not a security or public safety threat. Reestablish uniform baseline for screening and vetting standards and procedures consistent with the uniform baseline that existed on January 19th. That's the last day Trump held office, 2021. That will be used for any alien seeking. Remember the Muslim ban? You guys remember that? It's coming back. Vet and screen to the maximum degree possible all aliens who intend to be admitted, enter, or are already inside the United States, particularly those aliens coming from regions or nations with identified security risks. Thank you for becoming a member, Victoria. I'm sure there's other people I haven't noticed. I apologize for that. Within 60 days of the date of this order, the Secretary of State, the Attorney General, Homeland Security, shall jointly submit to the President through the assistance of the President, a report identifying countries throughout the world for which vetting and screening information is so deficient as to warrant a partial or full suspension on the admission of nationals from those countries. So now we're just going to block wholesale countries because we're like, Luxembourg? I don't know. Do we know any? Should we let those guys in here? I don't know. You. Okay. No. No to Luxembourg. Like, what? How is that going to go? How is that going to go? Identifying how many nationals from those countries have entered or have been admitted into the United States on or since January 2021. The start of Biden's administration. And any other information the secretaries and the attorney general deem relevant to the actions, anything else they feel like of such nationals since their admission. So if you are a foreign national, listen up, this is for you, okay? This is for you. If you're a foreign national living in America on a visa that was issued on or after January 20th, 2021, you in danger, girl. If you are from a no-no country and you got a visa and you came here as a student or whatever, you fucked. Scientology is about to get fucked. They get people from all kinds of countries we don't like. Whenever information identified that would support the exclusion or removal of any alien described in subsection 2B, the Secretary of Homeland Security shall take immediate steps to exclude or remove that alien unless she determines. They already knew the Secretary of Homeland Security was going to be a woman. They already knew it was going to be Tulsi Gabbard. She hasn't even been confirmed yet. Unless she determines that doing so would inhibit a significant pending investigation or prosecution of the alien for a serious criminal offense or would be contrary to the national security interests of the United States. Like they might have been a spy, so we don't want to send them back. Gitmo for everybody. Additional measures to protect the nation as soon as possible, but no later than 30 days from the date of this order, the Secretary of State, in coordination with the Attorney General and Homeland Security, National Intelligence, shall evaluate and adjust all existing regulations, policies, procedures, and provisions of the Foreign Service Manual or guidance of any kind pertaining to each of the grounds of inadmissibility listed to ensure continued safety and security of the American people and our constitutional republic. No more foreigners holding posts in any type of government office. Ensure that sufficient safeguards are in place to prevent any refugee or stateless individual from being admitted to the United States without undergoing stringent identification verification beyond that required of any other alien seeking admission or entry to the United States. Let me repeat that for the people in the back. Ensure that sufficient safeguards are in place to prevent any refugee or stateless individual from being admitted to the United States without undergoing stringent identification verification beyond that required of any other alien seeking admission or entry to the United States. So essentially, if you're here seeking asylum, you're from Syria, Afghanistan, Bosnia, Gaza, fuck you. We're not going to admit you. That's what that says. Ensure that sufficient safeguards are in place to prevent any refugee or... I read that. Sorry. Evaluate all visa programs to ensure they are not used by foreign nation states or other hostile actors to harm the security, economic, political, cultural, or other national interests of the United States. Recommend any actions necessary to protect the American people from the actions of foreign nationals who have undermined or seek to undermine the fundamental constitutional rights of the American people, including but not limited to our citizens' rights to freedom of speech and the free exercise of religion protected by the First Amendment, who preach or call for sectarian violence, the overthrow or replacement of the culture on which our constitutional republic stands, or who provide aid, advocacy, or support for foreign terrorists. I'm very... Joe Bananas, thank you for becoming a member. Confused by this because it feels like it's restricting already American citizens. But like, who are the foreign people who are trying to undermine or seek to undermine the fundamental constitutional rights of America? Who preach or call for sectarian violence, the overthrow or replacement of the culture on which our constitutional republic stands, or who provide aid, advocacy, or support for foreign terrorists. There's a little bit in here that isn't just about foreigners. There's a little bit in here about, like, we're starting the culture war, we're starting the we already defined sex. No more gender ideology. Are we instituting a national religion here? Ensure devotion of adequate resources to identify and take appropriate action on offensives. Evaluate the adequacy of programs designed to ensure the proper assimilation of lawful immigrants into the United States. Recommend any additional measures to be taken to promote a unified American identity and attachment to the Constitution, laws, and founding principles of the United States, and recommend any additional actions to protect the American people and our constitutional republic from foreign threats that promote a unified American identity. I am very scared of that sentence. Thank you, Deborah, for becoming a member. Oh, good. We're going to rape Alaska for oil and shit. Mineral, timber, and seafood. We're going to unlock it, guys. Achievement unlock. By developing these resources to the fullest extent possible, we can help deliver price relief for Americans. Fully avail itself of Alaska's vast lands and resources for the benefit of the nation and the American citizens who call Alaska home. Efficiently and effectively maximize the development and production of natural resources located on both federal and state lands. Oh, fuck the federal lands. Expedite the permitting and leasing of energy, gas, oil. Prioritize the development of Alaska's liquefied natural gas. Yep. More pipelines. Oh, good. The Secretary of Army is going to get in on this one. So exercise lawful authority and discretion available to them. Here's what they're going to do. Rescind, revoke, revise, amend, defer, or grant exemptions from any and all regulations, orders, guidance, documents, policies, and any other similar agency actions that are inconsistent with the policy set forth in Section 2 of this order, including but not limited to agency actions promulgated, issued, or adopted between January 20th, 2021 and yesterday. So all of the steps that Biden took to preserve Alaska, leave it the fuck alone, gone. Prioritize the development of Alaska's liquid natural gas potential, including the permitting of all necessary pipeline and export infrastructure, giving due consideration to the economic and national security benefits associated with such development. How about the earth, dumbass? In addition to the actions outlined in subsection A of this section, Secretary of the Interior shall exercise all lawful authority and discretion available to him. Take all steps to withdraw secretarial order from 2021. Temporary halt on all activities in the Arctic National Wildlife Refuge relating to the coastal plain oil and gas leasing program. Fuck the Arctic National Wildlife Refuge and the animals and the people who depend on those animals and wildlife for food. Fuck them.
Fuck me gently with the chainsaw.
Fuck the environment. Rescind the cancellation of any leases within the Arctic National Wildlife Refuge other than such lease cancellations as the Secretary of the Interior determines are consistent with the policy interests described in Section 2. Initiate additional leasing through coastal plain oil and gas leasing program and issue all permits, right-of-way permits, and easements necessary for the exploration, development, and production of oil and gas. Rescind the final supplemental environmental impact statement entitled Coastal Plain Oil and Gas Leasing Program Supplemental Environmental Impact Statement. Fuck it. Delete. Notice of availability of final coastal plain. Yeah, delete that. Place a temporary moratorium on all activities and privileges granted to any party pursuant to the record of decision signed on December 8th. So the people who are already there, goodbye. In order to review such record of decision in light of alleged legal deficiencies for consideration. Yeah. All you guys who are already there, go fuck yourselves. We're redoing it. Do over. Reinstate the final environmental impact statement entitled Final Environmental Impact Statement from 2019 when Trump wrote it. Reinstate the record of decision signed on August 21st, 2020, when Trump was still in office. He's going to erase everything Biden did, and he's putting back everything he had in place to do fucking the complete, ecological rape of one of the last huge wildlife refuges we have on this earth. Evaluate changes to including potential recession of public land order, blah, 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 blah. Place a temporary moratorium on all activities and privileges granted to any party pursuant to the record entitled Ambler Road Supplemental Environmental Impact Statement, which is referred to in notice availability. In order to review such record, Okay, well, that one's gone. Rescind the Bureau of Land Management final rule. Management and protection of National Petroleum Reserve in Alaska. Fuck that. That's gone. Rescind any guidance issued by the Bureau of Land Management related to implementation of protection of subsistence resource values in the existing special areas and proposed new and modified special areas. Fuck that. It's gone. Facilitate the expedited development of a road corridor between the community of King Cove and the all-weather, we're gonna pave Alaska, y'all. We're gonna pave the Arctic tundra. Okay, just like we built the wall. Place a temporary moratorium on all activities and privileges granted to any party. National Petroleum Reserve. Okay, so we're rescinding. There's a moratoriums on people who were doing it because fuck you, we don't trust you. Rescinding all protections. Here's the other protection they're rescinding. Reinstate. Oh, where did that come from? Which is referred to in final report. Yeah, we're reinstating all of Trump's stuff, rescinding all of Biden's protections. Okay? Reinstating all public land orders in their original form. Everything Trumpity-Dump did. Any other such public land order that the Secretary of the Interior determines would further the policy interests described in Section 2. Immediately review all departments of the Interior guidance regarding the taking of Alaska native lands. Oh, native lands. Into trust in all public land orders withdrawing lands for selection by Alaska Native corporations to determine if any such agency should be revoked to ensure the Department of the Interior's actions are consistent with the Alaska Statehood Act of 1958. The Alaska Native Claims Settlement. It's 2025, guys. Let's get back to fucking indigenous people because we didn't do enough of that in the 1600s. Rescind this. Fuck that decision. Re-implement the draft resource management plan and environmental impact statement. Okay. Rescind National Park Service shit. Fuck that. For hunting and trapping in the preserves, fuck it. Go get yourself a bear. Who gives a fuck? Deny the pending request to the United States Fish and Wildlife Service. Okay. 1 second. Oh my God. It's a good time for my kid to call. Deny the pending request to the United States Fish and Wildlife Service to establish an indigenous sacred site in the coastal plain. Fuck them, indigenous peoples. Fuck them. Yeah. Fuck them. Fuck them. Alaska's ours. Immediately conduct a review of waterways. Oh, good. We're going to fuck with the water now. In the state of Alaska and direct the Bureau of Land Management in consultation with the state of Alaska to provide recommendations of navigable waterways. We're opening up the Arctic Passage. Canada, please pay attention. We're getting into your territory here. Tazzy, thank you for gifting these memberships. I'm going to go over all that after. Subject to the Equal Footing Doctrine and the Submerged Lands Act of 1953. Wow. Direct all bureaus of the Department of the Interior to consider the Alaskan cultural significance of hunting and fishing and the statutory priority of subsistence management to conduct meaningful consultation with the state fish wildlife management agencies prior to enacting land management plans or other regulations that affect the ability of Alaskans to hunt and fish on public lands. And to ensure the greatest extent possible that hunting and fishing opportunities on federal lands are consistent with similar opportunities on state lands. First of all, Alaska is a state, you fuck. So now they're going to take away the native Alaskans' right to survive as they have for centuries in the way that they fucking choose by making them go get licenses and only hunt during certain times of the year and all this other bullshit. It's fucking bullshit. Oh, here we go. Secretary of Defense. Let's get into it. The authorities and public and private resources necessary to immediately achieve the development and export of energy resources from Alaska. Why does the Secretary of Defense have to get in on that? Including but not limited to long-term viability of Trans-Alaska Pipeline System and associated federal right-of-way as an energy corridor of critical national importance. So, guys, you have to remember Alaska is up here, and then there's a bunch of Canada, and then the United States. So are we going to go to war with Canada now to fucking build a pipeline between America and Canada? Is that what we're proposing? To advance the nation's domestic and regional energy dominance. and submit that assessment to the president. I did say assessment. I am not inebriated. I am so overwhelmed. My fucking brain is melting. It's literally, I think I may have a stroke. In addition to the actions outlined in subsection A, I mean, it's not enough yet. The Secretary of Agriculture shall place a temporary moratorium on all activities and privileges authorized by the final rule and record of decision entitled Special Areas, Roadless Area, Conservation, National Forest System Lands in Alaska. It's a moratorium. There are no more areas. In order to review such rule and record of decision in light of alleged legal deficiencies. Yeah, just drive wherever the fuck you want. Do whatever you want. In addition to the actions outlined, for fuck's sake, the Secretary of the Army, acting through the Assistant Secretary of the Army for Civil Works, shall render all assistance. So we're going to get the Army Corps of Engineers up there. Requested by the Governor of Alaska to facilitate the clearing, here we go, guys, and maintenance of transportation infrastructure consistent with applicable law. We're going to clear cut Alaska, guys. The Assistant Secretary of Army for Civil Works, under the direction of the Secretary of the Army, shall immediately review, revise, or rescind any agency action that may in any way hinder, slow, or otherwise delay any critical project in the state of Alaska. Fuck it. Total autonomy. They got the red pen. Secretary of Commerce, in coordination with the Secretary of the Interior, shall immediately review, revise, or rescind any agency action that may in any way hinder or slow or otherwise delay any critical project in the state of Alaska. The authority granted by law to an executive department or agency, blah, 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 blah. Okay. So we're fucking Alaska. Didn't we just already protect people against invasion? Now what are we doing? For fuck's sake. Blah, blah, blah. Illegal immigration. Many of these aliens unlawfully, blah, blah, blah. Committing vile, heinous acts against innocent Americans. Okay. Policy. Let's get to it. It's the policy of the United States to faithfully execute the immigration laws against all inadmissible and removable aliens, particularly those aliens who threaten the safety and security of the American people. Further, it's the policy of the United States to achieve the total and efficient enforcement of those laws, including through lawful incentives and detention capabilities. Faithful execution of the immigration laws for furtherance of policies described in Section 2. We're going to go back where? Okay. That was the first day for Biden. Revoked. And executive departments and agencies shall take all appropriate action to promptly revoke all memoranda, guidance, or other policies based on those executive orders, and shall employ all lawful means to ensure the faithful execution of the immigration laws. All inadmissible and removable aliens. Everything Biden did. The reunification, asylum, gone. The Secretary of Homeland Security shall take all appropriate action to enable the Director of U.S. Immigration, ICE, the Commissioner of Border, Customs and Border Protection, and the Director of U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services to set priorities for their agencies that protect the public safety and national security interests of the American people, including by ensuring the successful enforcement of final orders of removal. Further, the Secretary of Homeland Security shall ensure that the primary mission of the United States Immigration and Customs ICE, Homeland Security, is the enforcement of the provisions in the INA and other federal laws related to the illegal entry and unlawful presence of aliens in the United States. Criminal enforcement priorities. The Attorney General, in coordination with the Secretary of State and the Secretary of Homeland Security, shall take all appropriate action to prioritize the prosecution of criminal offenses related to unauthorized entry or continued unauthorized presence of aliens in the United States. Homeland Security Task Force, the Attorney General, Homeland Security, to jointly establish Homeland Security Task Force in states nationwide. The composition of the task force shall be subject to the direction of the Attorney General and the Secretary of Homeland Security, but shall include representation from any other federal agencies with law enforcement officers or agencies with the ability to provide logistics, intelligence, and operational support to the task force, and shall also include representation from relevant state and local law enforcement agencies. It's a posse, baby. It's a legal posse. The heads of all federal agencies shall take all appropriate action to provide support to the Attorney General and the Secretary of Homeland Security to ensure that the task force fulfill the objectives in subsection C. The objective of each task force is to end the presence of criminal cartels, foreign gangs, and transitional criminal organizations throughout the United States, dismantle cross-border human smuggling and trafficking networks, and the scourge of human smuggling and trafficking, with a particular focus on such offenses involving children, and ensure the use of all available law enforcement tools to faithfully execute the immigration laws of the United States. The Attorney General and Homeland Security Secretary shall take all appropriate action to provide operational command center to coordinate the activities of the task force and provide such support as they may require, and shall also take appropriate action to provide supervisory direction to their activities. Identification of unregistered illegal aliens. Homeland Security, in coordination with the Secretary of State and Attorney General, shall take appropriate action to immediately announce and publicize what happened. I don't know what's happening to my page here, guys. Can you guys see it moving? There we go. Now it's moving again. I don't know. I had a glitch in the matrix. Okay. The Secretary of Homeland Security shall ensure that the primary mission of U.S. immigration, ICE, Homeland Security investigation is the enforcement of the provisions in the NIA. Okay, I rewound too far here. I'm sorry. Identification of unregistered illegal aliens. Here's how they're going to do it. Immediately announce and publicize information about the legal obligation of all previously unregistered aliens in the United States to comply with the requirements of Part 7. No more DACA. Ensure that all previously unregistered aliens in the United States comply with the requirements of Part 7, Subchapter 2. And ensure that failure to comply with the legal obligations of Part 7 is treated as a civil and criminal enforcement priority. Civil fines and penalties. All right. They shall take all appropriate action to ensure the assessment and collection of all fines and penalties at the Secretary of Homeland Security is authorized to, by law, to assess and collect from aliens unlawfully present in the United States including aliens who unlawfully entered under or unlawfully attempted to enter the United States, and from those who facilitate such aliens. Girl, I want to highlight this because this is how we're going to take down Scientology right here. Sorry. I'm going to actually screenshot that. So I remember what policy this is from. Literally, this policy is going to take down Scientology. Right there. Within 90 days of the date of this order, the Secretary and Treasury of the Secretary of Homeland Security shall submit a report to the President regarding their progress. Implementing, blah, 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 progress report. Efficient removals of recent entrants and other aliens. Shall promptly take appropriate action to use all other provisions of the immigration laws or any other federal law, including but not limited to sections 238 and 240, to ensure the efficient and expedited removal of aliens from the United States. We're just going to have it's mass deportations. They're not saying that word, but it's mass deportation. Oh, good. Detention facilities. I was hoping we weren't going to get that, but yay, Daddy is going to build us a detention facility or 500. Yep. Allocate legally available resources or establish contracts. Of course, contracts. It's going to be for profit, baby. Capitalism. To construct, operate, control, or use facilities to detain removable aliens. The Secretary of Homeland Security further shall take all appropriate actions to ensure the detention of aliens apprehended for violations of immigration law pending the outcome of their removal proceedings and their removal from the country. To ensure that state and local law enforcement agencies across the United States can assist with the protection of the American people, the Secretary of Homeland Security shall, to the maximum extent permitted by law and with the consent of state or local officials as appropriate, take appropriate action through agreements to authorize state and local law enforcement officials as the Secretary of Homeland Security determines are qualified and appropriate to perform the functions of immigration officers. So here come the sheriffs and the brand new cadets out of the police academy who are now duly hatted as immigration officers. Because why not? In relation to the investigation, apprehension, or detention of aliens in the United States under the direction and supervision of the Secretary of Homeland Security. Such authorization shall be in addition to, rather than in place of, federal performance of these duties. Everybody is now, every police officer and sheriff and local law enforcement personnel is now duly deputized as an immigration officer by this. So let's say you get pulled over. The cop says you didn't come to a full stop at the stop sign, and you get pulled over. Okay. They want to see your license and registration. Uh-oh, hot dog. You don't look American. As a deputized immigration officer, they don't like the looks of you or your documentation. They can detain you until you can prove with further documents that we all obviously don't carry around in our vehicles on our person that you are who you say you are and you're a real American. Born here by Americans. For anyone out there who wants to look me dead in my eyes, tell me that this man is good for America and Americans. I fucking dare you. Okay. if I hear one more person in my life try to tell me how I'm not in danger and I shouldn't be worried about anything and everything is fine, please go read all this like I am right now. Please go read Project 2025, half of which is directly these executive orders that he just enforced on day one. He didn't even like just go to the ball and dance with his wife. He sat down at the fucking desk, at the Resolute desk, pulled out as many Sharpies as he could, and just took pictures with his serial killer scrawl on it. I love you too, Selma. This is the absolute worst case scenario, America. You did this. The millions of people, and it was a lot of people who voted for Trump. Like over 8 million people more voted for Trump in the popular vote than Kamala. You did this. If you voted for Trump, you did this. This is the America you voted for. It is not an America of by and for the people. It's an America of by and for cis white people who are Christian. And that doesn't include everybody. I may need to do that, Selma. I may need to do that. We'll see. You know, but a lot of us, and myself included here, guys, are totally fucked. And by that I mean, like, I can't pack up and move. Even if my impulse right now is to literally place my house on the market and sell it. And oh my God. Does anyone else have a teenager that needs multiple instructions on every aspect of an instruction that you already gave them? Please hold. And I'm back. I love my children. I love them very, very much. But this has nothing to do with the policies that are being laid forth. But I feel like something happened. Like, I don't know if there was like a mass event DNA-wise. I feel like everybody who's a Gen Xer like myself, all of our children seem to have the same inherent flaw of having no problem-solving skills. Like at all. And I think that that's partially because we were like the latchkey generation. And so there was never an adult around for us to ask, like, how does this work? Uh-oh, there's a fire in the kitchen while I'm cooking my mac and cheese. Or like, what do I eat? Where's this? Like, we were home alone. And so we had to figure shit out. My kids will be staring in the pantry, okay, that is a mini Costco, okay, and be like, are there Oreos? And the Oreos are like right here by their face on a shelf that they're just not like turned to look at. Like, please help me. Any recommendations on who to watch after this? I know you can change my brain from falling apart to being lifted. Like a good show to watch. I would say go watch Welcome to Wrexham. It's actually like fucking brilliant and shows you what real investment in a community can do to raise up and reinvigorate an actual community. What real support looks like. I love that show so much. Yeah. I would watch that. I would watch that. It'll give you a good laugh. It'll give you some hope, and then you'll fall in love with Wales, as I have. I'm desperate to go to Wales and to an actual football game there to see the Wrexham, to see Wrexham, or a YouTube channel, anything. That's my recommendation. Let's get back to this garbage dumpster fire of our nation that we now live in. In relation to the investigation, apprehension, or detention of aliens in the United States under the direction and the supervision of the Secretary of Homeland Security. Such authorization shall be in addition to, rather than in place of, federal performance of these duties. Encouraging voluntary compliance with the law. Just turn yourself in. Turn yourself in. Secretary of Homeland Security shall take appropriate action in coordination with the Secretary of State and the Attorney General and subject to adequate safeguards, assurances, bonds, and any other lawful measure to adopt policies and procedures to encourage aliens to unlawfully in the United States to voluntarily depart as soon as possible, including through enhanced usage of provisions, international agreements or assistance, or any other measures that encourage aliens unlawfully in the United States to depart promptly as possible. Like, listen, guys, if you just go, that's good. You know, maybe we'll buy you a flight on Spirit Airlines. Yeah. Yeah, I've seen Lil Britain. It's funny. It's funny as hell. Recalcitrant countries. Wow. The Secretary of State and Homeland Security shall take appropriate action to cooperate effectively, implement as appropriate the sanctions provided by with the Secretary of State to to the maximum extent permitted by law, ensuring the diplomatic efforts and negotiations with foreign states include the foreign states' acceptance of their nationals who are subject to removal. Like if people are like, I don't want that guy back. Too bad. Eliminate all documentary barriers, dilatory tactics, or other restrictions that prevent the prompt repatriation of aliens to any foreign state. Any failure to delay by a foreign state to verify the identity of a national of that state shall be considered in carrying out subsection A of section and shall also be considered regarding the issuance of any other sanctions. So we're going to sanction. Okay, so let's say we have a guy here and he's from Vietnam and he like overstayed a student visa. So now we're going to fuck with Vietnam. If they're like, he's been gone so long, we don't know who the fuck that is. Well, too bad he's yours. Eliminate, nope. Visa bonds. The Secretary of Treasury shall take appropriate action in coordination with the Secretary of State and Homeland Security to establish a system to facilitate, oh, my stomach is aching, guys, the administration of all bonds that the Secretary of State or Homeland Security may lawfully require to administer the provisions. So we're just going to make up money for them to use to do this stuff? Is that what it says? Wow. Reestablishment of the Voice Office and addressing victims of crimes committed by removable aliens. Okay. To take all appropriate actions, lawful, reestablished with ICE, an office to provide proactive, timely, adequate, and professional services to victims of crimes committed by removable aliens and those victims' family members. Okay. Oh, here we go. We're going to clap back at Biden now. Secretary of State, Attorney General, and Homeland Security shall promptly take all appropriate action consistent with law to rescind the policy decisions of the previous administration that led to the increased or continued presence of illegal aliens in the United States and align any and all department activities with the police policies set out by this order and immigration laws. Such action should include, but it's not limited to, ensuring that the parole authority exercised only on a case-by-case basis in accordance with plain language of the statute and in all circumstances only when individual alien demonstrates, where did I go? Urgent humanitarian reasons or sufficient public benefit derived from their particular continued presence in the United States arising from such parole. So even if someone was on parole, if we deem them not worthy to the United States, fuck you, you're gone. Ensuring that designations of temporary protected status are consistent with the provisions and that such designations are appropriately limited in scope and made only so long as may be necessary to fulfill the textual requirements of the statute. Fuck. Ensuring that employment authorization is provided in a manner consistent with, okay. So here we go on those R1 visas and the visa that got Elon Musk here. And that employment authorization is not provided to any unauthorized alien in the United States. Sanctuary jurisdictions. Attorney General, Homeland Security shall, to the maximum extent possible, under law, evaluate and undertake any lawful actions to ensure that so-called sanctuary jurisdictions, which seek to interfere with lawful exercise of federal law enforcement operations, do not receive access to federal funds. This is how Trump is going to get out of helping California with the wildfires. Right there, that sentence. Pacific Palisades and a lot of his donors burnt down, but fuck you, because Los Angeles is a sanctuary city. Further, the Attorney General and Secretary of Homeland Security shall evaluate and undertake any other lawful actions, criminal or civil, that they deem warranted based on any such jurisdiction practices that interfere with the enforcement of federal law. Information sharing. Homeland Security is going to issue guidance to ensure maximum compliance by Department of personnel there and ensure that the state and local governments are provided. Hey, can you bring me the box of Krispy Kremes? Actually, can you just bring me a plain one? Thank you. I need a donut, guys. The Secretary of Health and Human Services and the Secretary of Homeland Security shall take all appropriate action to stop the trafficking and smuggling of alien children to the United States. Okay. Immediately review and, if appropriate, audit all contracts, grants, or other agreements providing federal funding to non-governmental organizations supporting or providing services either directly or indirectly to removable or illegal aliens. Here we go. I got this one right here. That such agreements conform to applicable laws and are free of waste, fraud, abuse. Yep. This whole thing here is going to take down Scientology, guys. They import more people to come work in their facilities than anyone else. Thank you so much, sweetheart. I appreciate you. What are you looking for, Landon? He's out doing the cans still. He got detained. He'll be back. He got lost is the whole thing. Not detained. He's fine. That's the wrong word. I'm reading legal shit. Hang on a second, guys. I need a donut break. I'm not going to chew in your ear. Talk amongst yourselves. I'm sorry, guys. I had to do it. Pause distribution of all further funds pursuant to such agreements pending the results. Terminate all such agreements determined to be in violation of law or sources of waste, fraud, abuse. I think the heat is making me feel weird. Krispy Kreme takeover. Yep. Yes, those are from yesterday. I will eat a stale donut. I'm not above a stale donut. Initiate clawback or recoupment procedures, if appropriate, for any agreements described in that. This one's a long one. Denial of public benefits to illegal aliens. There we go. No more sucking at the teat, illegals. Oh, and they want to hire more people. Okay. They're going to get more agents. Guys, it's a hiring bonanza. It is the policy of the United States to enforce this order to the maximum extent possible to advance the interests of the United States. Accordingly, if any provision of this order... Oh, we did that already. That's all the bullshit. Okay. Holy fuck. Just look at these titles, guys. What national emergency did we declare? What the fuck? The energy and critical minerals, energy, identification, leasing, development, production, transportation, refining, and generation capacity of the United States are far too inadequate to meet our nation's needs. We need a reliable, diversified, and affordable supply of energy to drive our nation's manufacturing, transportation, agriculture, and defense industries, and to sustain the basics of modern life and military preparedness. Caused by the harmful and short-sighted policies of the previous administration, our nation's inadequate energy supply and infrastructure causes and makes worse the high energy prices that devastate America. No, that's the fucking capitalistic no cap on whatever the fuck they want to charge us for this shit. This active threat to the American people from high energy prices to exacerbated by our nation's diminished capacity to insulate itself from hostile foreign actors. Energy security is an increasingly crucial theater of global competition. In an effort to harm the American people, hostile state and non-state foreign actors have targeted our domestic energy infrastructure, weaponized our reliance on foreign energy, and abused their ability to cause dramatic swings within international commodity markets. An affordable and reliable domestic supply of energy is a fundamental requirement for the national and economic security of any nation. The integrity and expansion of our nation's energy infrastructure from coast to coast is an immediate and pressing priority for the protection of the United States' national and economic security. It's imperative that the federal government puts the physical and economic well-being of the American people first. Moreover, the United States has the potential to use its unrealized energy resources domestically and to sell to international allies and partners a reliable, diversified, and affordable supply of energy. This would create jobs and economic prosperity for Americans forgotten in the present economy, improve the United States trade balance, and help our country compete with hostile foreign powers, strengthen relations with allies and partners, and support international peace and security. Accordingly, our nation's dangerous energy situation inflicts unnecessary and perilous constraints on our foreign policy. Blah, 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 blah. A national emergency. And here's what he's approving. Heads of executive departments and agencies shall identify and exercise any lawful emergency authorities available to them, as well as other lawful authorities they may possess, to facilitate the identification, leasing, sitting, production, transportation, refining, and generation of domestic energy resources, including but not limited to on federal lands. Selma, go to bed, honey. If you took your melatonin, don't fight that shit. Just go to bed. This will be here in the morning. Unless, of course, I get canceled and put in a detention center that I am made to build myself. If an agency assesses that the use of either federal eminent domain authorities, oh good, we're going to go back to federal eminent domain, or authorities afforded under Defense Production Act are necessary to achieve this objectives, the agency shall submit recommendations for a course of action to the President. Consistent with blank, the blah, 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 the administrator of the Environmental Protection Agency, after consultation with and concurrence by the Secretary of Energy, shall consider issuing emergency fuel waivers to allow the year-round sale of E15 gasoline. Okay, that means 15% ethanol to meet any projected temporary shortfalls in the supply of gasoline across the nation. Why would we have a gas supply shortfall? What are you trying to tell us? Where is all the gasoline going? We have vast amount of fucking excess supply. What is happening? Expediting the delivery of energy infrastructure to facilitate the nation's energy supply, agencies shall identify and use all relevant lawful emergency and other authorities available to them to expedite the completion of all authorized and appropriated infrastructure, energy, environmental, and natural resources projects that are within the identified authority of each of the secretaries to perform in advance. To protect the collective national and economic security of the United States, agencies shall identify and use all lawful emergency or other authorities available to them to facilitate, I just had a glitch in my own matrix, facilitate the supply, refining, and transportation of energy in and through the west coast of the United States, northeast of the United States, and Alaska. We are going to drill everywhere. The Secretary shall provide such reports regarding activities under this section, blah, 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 blah. Emergency regulations and nationwide permits under the Clean Water Act. Within 30 days from the date of this order, the heads of all agencies, as well as the Secretary of Army, acting through the Assistant Secretary of the Army for Civil Works, shall identify planned or potential actions to facilitate the nation's energy supply that may be subject to emergency treatment pursuant to the... Guys, can we get our bridges and roads fixed? What happened to the infrastructure plan? You want to put the Army Corps of Engineers to do a survey of the entire fucking United States to figure out where more oil and natural gas is so you can fucking run pipelines through people's homes because of federal eminent domain. And now, but we can't fix bridges. I mean, we are using the Army Corps of Engineers to do this, guys. Make no mistake. Endangered Species Act. Oh, what are we going to do? No later than 30 days, you should identify planned or potential actions to facilitate the nation's energy supply that may be subject to the regulation, consultation, and emergencies. Yeah, so get rid of the Endangered Species Act. Fuck them frogs. Fuck the wolves. Fuck all those things.
Fuck me gently with the chainsaw.
Jesus Christ. Do you know how much work, especially in a state like Oregon, that we have done to clean up the water, to restore salmon spawning to like a 1/10 of what it was? That's going to be all gone. Oh, right, because we have to have coordinated infrastructure assistance to make sure we can transport all this fucking oil and gas. But fuck those bridges. Jesus Christ. The term energy or energy resources means crude oil, natural gas, least condensates, natural gas liquids, refined petroleum products, uranium, coal, biofuels, geothermal heat, the kinetic movement of flowing water, and critical minerals. The term production means the extraction or creation of energy. The term transportation means the physical movement of energy, including through, but not limited to, pipelines. The term refining means the physical or chemical change of energy into a form that can be used by consumers or users, including but not limited to the creation of gasoline, diesel, ethanol, aviation fuel, or the beneficiation, enrichment, or purification of minerals such as uranium. We're going to make more nukes. The term generation means the use of energy to produce electrical or thermal power and the transmission of electricity from its site of generation. The term energy supply means the production, transportation, refining, and generation of energy. And this is a national emergency. National energy emergency. I read that wrong. Guys, we got to get rid of the wind. It's causing cancer. I'm just going to go through these. Oh, good. Death penalty is back. Guys, putting people over fish. Putting people over fish. Fuck those fish, man. Fuck sushi. Fuck those fish. Another one. How many do we have about securing? Protecting the meaning and value of American citizenship. America First trade policy. Okay. Guys, we're going to have to do the rest. Withdraw. There it is. We're official. Done. We're out of the WHO. Oh. We're going to have, what is that? Hang on. Putting America first in international environmental agreements. Oh, I love to know what we're going to do about the cost of living crisis. Hiring freeze. Return to return to in-person work, y'all. Fuck you, work at home motherfuckers. Ending the weaponization of the federal government. We read that one already. Restoring freedom of speech and ending federal censor. Oh, God, guys, we're going to get into this tomorrow. Yeah, did you guys see that? He had to do an executive order because he wanted the flag at full staff for the whole fucking day of his inauguration and not at half staff because Jimmy Carter died. Fuck Jimmy Carter. Okay, guys, we're back. We're back here on page 2. We're going to pick up from where we left off tomorrow. We skipped a couple things because I got drawn into this one, but we're gonna get into it. America. This is some fucked up shit. Oh, there were so many memberships, guys. Let me get those first here. I appreciate you guys so much. Tazzy D just became a member. Victoria Morton became a member. Joe Bananas became a member. Oh, you finally made it back. Good job. Thank you. That was an adventure. Deb Malott. Oh, you're welcoming her. Tazzy D gifted 5 membership. What's up, girl? Aubrey became a member. Persephone became a member. Rexican Mestrant. Hey, man. Good to see you. Became a member. Lauren Quigley's now a member. And Verity was gifted a membership. Let's get to some of these comments and questions, guys. Holy shit balls. Yeah, Steffi, I feel the same. Jesus H. Christmas, where did you start this live? I am sad, my lord. Thank you, Selma. On behalf of the American people, I accept your apology. Did I see what the bishop said in her reading to him? No, I missed that. I'll have to go look. I did not. I will. Let's end this on a good note. Female bishop preach to Trump.
Unity is relative.
Here we go. Let's pull that up. Let's pull up this badass bitch here. Since y'all mentioned it so many times. Here we go.
Unity is relatively easy to pray for on occasions of great solemnity.
Look at Eric's face. What? And I'm Eric. Tiffany's like, guys, I'm here too. Look at me. Guys. I'm a Trump. Ivanka's like, I can't be bothered. Eric's wife is like, ugh. Junior's like, I'm too stoned for this shit. Trump's like, I'm just going to flip through this. So it looks like I'm reading. And Melania's like, they don't even put this in my language. Like, you know, I'm not fucking American. Like, fuck you.
It's a lot harder to realize when we're dealing with real differences in our private lives and in the public arena.
He's literally holding the thing open at the end. He's not even following along.
But without unity, we're building our nation's house on sand. And with a commitment to unity that incorporates diversity and transcends disagreement, and with the solid foundations of dignity, honesty, and humility that such unity requires.
Now Junior and Lara are talking, and Ivanka's like, girl, fucking pay attention. Tiffany's like, Daddy, I need a snack.
We can do our part and in our time to realize the ideals and the dream of America. Let me make one final plea, Mr. President.
Oh, he's going to pay attention now.
Millions have put their trust in you. And as you told the nation yesterday, you have felt the providential hand of a loving God.
Look at him. He's like asleep. He doesn't even care. Melania's like, what does this bitch say? What does bitch say? What's this tiny dyke say? I don't like her hair. I think she's gay.
In the name of our God, I ask you
Tiffany's like, ooh, girl, T.
to have mercy upon the people in our country who are scared now. There are gay, lesbian, and transgender children in Democratic, Republican, and independent families.
Look at, did you hear, as soon as Labiqua got mentioned, Junior perked up. Ivanka's like, this is getting uncomfortable. Tiffany's like, Eric's still like, whoa. Laura's like, oh, I'm going to take this bitch out.
Some who fear for their lives. And the people who pick our crops and clean our office buildings, who labor in poultry farms and meat packing plants, who wash the dishes after we eat in restaurants and work the night shifts in hospitals, they may not be citizens.
Oh my God. Did he just roll his eyes? Like, do I have to sit through this shit? Oh my fucking God.
Or have the proper documentation.
He's looking over right now at whoever picked this person to do this preaching and is like imagining 25 ways to have them deported to the worst place on earth.
But the vast majority of immigrants are not criminals. They pay taxes.
Laura's biting her lip. She's biting her lip. Tiffany still has no clue. Eric is frozen.
And are good neighbors. They are faithful members of our churches and mosques, synagogues, wadara, and temples. I ask you to have mercy, Mr. President, on those in our communities whose children fear that their parents will be taken away, and that you help those who are fleeing war zones and persecution.
He's literally fuming. He's fuming. He wants to murder this woman right now.
In their own lands, to find compassion and welcome here. Our God teaches us that we are to be merciful to the stranger.
Tiffany's like, are we liking her? Do we hate her? I don't know. Is this God? I've never been in church. What is this?
For we were all once strangers in this land. May God grant us the strength and courage to honor the dignity of every human being, to speak the truth to one another in love, and walk humbly with each other and our God for the good of all people in this nation and the world.
Dentists hate when you do.
Oh my God. I mean, she's fantastic. Don't get me wrong. Don't get it twisted. I love her. Everything she said was perfection. If you watch Trump's response to that, we're beyond fucked. He heard nothing after she talked about Labiqua and, immigrants who contribute to society. He heard nothing. The rest of that speech was, fuck this lady. Why do I have to be here? This is stupid. This is the part of being president and I hate. I want to go sign all my big boy orders and then she can go get fucked. And if there's a way I can deport this woman, I will. Yeah, he signed 1,500 pardons yesterday. He pardoned 1,500 people. regardless of their violence during the J6 riots. 1,500 people. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I love doing politics too. Yeah. The Proud Boys showed up in their full regalia. They're going to stand back and stand by. Mm-hmm. Okay. Where are their job open? I need help. My wife is this is job. Does this count as job in Netherlands, Selma? Could I be a content creator in Netherlands and count that as an independent business owner? My wife she has college degree. I will fucking shovel snow. I will rake the forest. Whatever. It is cute, but he's doing it. Yeah. Mm-hmm. 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 We already have, guys, at my kids' high school, they have whooping cough right now. It's fucking 2025. How the fuck do we have whooping cough? Fucking hell, man. Oh, sure. Elon and others, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Do they even know how much all the reprinting of maps will cost? Yeah. They don't care. So the U.S. is out of the World Health Organization and the Paris Climate Accord, the same as Yemen, Libya, Iran, and one other. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. We don't give a fuck about the rest of the world. It's America first. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's Maya Angelou. Believe somebody when they show you who they are the first time. Yeah, the brown shirt salute says it all about Elon. He's a complete white supremacist from South Africa. I don't know why anyone is shocked at this. If he could make apartheid happen in South Africa, he'd fucking be doing that. Yep. President Musk forced him out for calling MAGA common folks names that were disparaging. Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah. This makes white men icky. And also indigenous Americans on Turtle Island would like to have a word with MAGA. After all, they have 3 genders, including 2 spirit people. Yeah, well, then, no, they don't. Not according to Trump. That's a thing right now. But also you have to realize all of that energy drilling and everything else, that's federally protected land, right? There's going to be a loophole. I'm going to tell you this right now. Even if it's not hidden in one of these decrees, there will be no more indigenous tribal lands in America. I haven't been wrong yet, guys. That's my prediction for 2025. Once Trump figures out that some of the places he wants to drill, baby, drill are Indian reservations, he's gonna be like, oh, well, how do we get rid of that? What do I need to put? Can somebody just put it in front of me? I want to get rid of it. Done. Done. Yeah, I know. Selma, I know, girl. All embryos are female for the first 3 months until the ovaries decide to become outies or not. You know? Yeah, I would be afraid for her too. Oh, how does Caitlyn Jenner feel about it? Caitlyn Jenner doesn't give a fuck about anybody but Caitlyn Jenner. You think they're coming for Caitlyn Jenner? Caitlyn Jenner has so much fucking money. Rich fucks like Caitlyn Jenner who I'm sorry. Caitlyn Jenner can't sit with us. Fuck Caitlyn Jenner. Okay. They're responsible for most of this anti-trans rhetoric. And they are a fucking trans person. Like, make that make sense, Shula. Oh, Labique was next. My marriage is next. We have to finish going through the executive orders. I didn't hear of one that takes, my marriage away yet. But, wait till next week. He's got to go get some McDonald's and golf, Elbow Tusk doesn't care about his trans kid. He doesn't acknowledge that that's real. And he said that out loud. Oh, prepare yourself, Aubrey. Prepare yourself. It's coming. Yes, it is. And if you guys don't know what that means, go read The Handmaid's Tale or go watch the show. I'm watching it. We're fucking... He watched The Handmaid's Tale, okay, and was like, I want to do that. That sounds like fun. Let's do that. And they're doing it. Yeah. I mean, China's already hacked the shit out of us. They already know everything. So, like, what are we protecting? Yep. The biggest threat is not foreign. It just got inaugurated. Yep. Thank you for coming, Victoria. I appreciate you. Sarah Palin will be screaming, I can see oil from my front porch. Yeah. She never said that. That was just Tina Fey, but it was still pretty accurate on her character. I hear you, Heather. Fucking leave Alaska alone. That's yours. But girl, Heather, you better gather your fucking fellow. I don't want to mispronounce Tlingit. Tlingit. Please tell me I got that partially right. An Alaskan native. Please gather up your other Alaska natives together and fucking fight. Like, I support you guys. Fuck. Check out a song called My Country by Nahako and Medicine for the People. I find it very relative right now. Okay. Yeah. No, he doesn't give a fuck about Alaskan indigenous people. I hope so, unless he decides to, with another executive order. He's got to wait a little bit to, amend the Constitution so that he can have a third, fourth, fifth. There's no term limits for the president. You watch. You watch. Yeah. Yes, he is. Yes, he is. 100%. There will be a civil war. It is not going to be pretty. America is picking a fight with everybody, including itself. Thank you, Aubrey. I'm with you, my friend. I'm with you. Yeah. Yes. Oh, now what? Any bets on who'll be building these detention centers? The people who will end up inside. That's correct. It will be forged with slave labor. If my wife has a job that's really needed in Canada, you might be able to. She's not in healthcare, but she's very smart and she's very well trained. Who gives a fuck about polar bears, Deborah? We need oil. Yeah, Melania's not getting deported. She had an anchor baby. His name is Barron. Providence is a sanctuary city. Yeah, all those are gone now. Yeah, Elon came here on a student F1 visa. He broke that visa several ways. First, by not going to school, then by not working. This is a fact. That means he got a citizenship on fraud. Is he going to be rounded up by ICE? Doubtful. Yeah, the energy price crisis is an international problem. Yeah, we think we pay a lot for gas. Try going to England and shit. It's like fucking 12 pounds a gallon, y'all. Fuck that. Correct. Yeah. For those of you who are not familiar with Flint, Michigan, please Google that. Yeah, the return to work in person is an Elon thing. Yeah, he fucking hated people working from home. Yeah, who needs a bridge? Elon's probably going to be releasing some amphibian cars, so unless you have one, good luck swimming across. Yeah. I have to say that every time I see him. SNL ruined me forever. And I'm Eric. We need emojis. Okay, I'll get on that, Rox. Yeah, he has said that he's the last president ever. Yep. Oh, okay. Good. Let me know what the channel is. I'll give you a subscribe for sure. Oh, tariffs on Canada. Have fun getting lumber. Oh, we'll just log the rest of the Pacific Northwest. We don't need your fucking Canadian trees. Canadian trees, disgusting. We've got trees here in Oregon and fucking Washington that haven't been clear cut yet. We're good. I'm sorry. I'm so fucking sassy right now. I can't. I fucking can't. Let me get to the questions. This is just like, we are living in another dimension now, guys. We are no longer in the timeline that we were in. We have been all forcibly moved in America into a complete dystopian timeline that everybody is pretending isn't happening. What's going on Facebook? Owners of one of the groups I'm in decided to leave the platform and totally delete the group. I don't know. I don't know if we got to the executive order or not. If maybe that question got answered with the ones we read. Can we have some tofu after this? Jennifer, you can have tofu and yoga all you want, honey. How much progress can be erased in a day? Yeah. We just saw. Why doesn't the U.S. have a shadow cabinet? It really helps with scrutiny, having someone briefed and ready to critique. Yeah. You don't get to tell us what to do. You're not my dad. Does the Secretary of the Interior control the Bureau of Indian Affairs? That's a good question. Who? I don't know. Who controls the Bureau Indian? Okay. So the answer is yes to what you said, but let me show you. It's a little more complicated than that. It renders services to roughly 2 million Indigenous Americans across 574 federally recognized tribes. The Bureau of Indian Affairs is governed by a director and overseen by the Assistant Secretary for Indian Affairs, who answers to the Secretary of the Interior. Like I said, guys, they're going to do away with that. Those 574 federally recognized tribes? No, you're not. Oh, you're an Indigenous American? No, you're not. Show me your papers. That's where we're going to get to, guys. Or they're going to have to go through some process to become, a real American citizen. Or they can, get out. That's my prediction. Yeah. Honey, I do not have the answer to this question. Fuck Betsy DeVos.
Fuck me gently with the chainsaw.
I wanted to go like fuck, but it's not doing it. Like, I fucking hate her. Yeah. Are we banning Keanu now? I hope Keanu goes all John Wick on whoever tries to fucking deport his ass. Good luck. Okay. Let's say Trump could get tax exempt status of Scientology and all the kids saved in exchange for 1/20th of Alaska getting clear cut. No. No. I don't know because I didn't read it yet. So I don't know yet. We'll get to that one though. No, he's not Labiqua. Not to my knowledge. Yes, genuinely. This is really happening. This is really happening. This is not a joke. This is live. This is happening right now. Did I get your emails? I don't know. Which ones? I don't know. Please tell me you won't leave me in the next 4 years. I'm going to keep doing this as long as I can, guys. Unless they make a law against me saying what's wrong with the government on the internet. Oh, no. All the Republicans that were brave enough to even say, that's not going to happen, are 5,000 years old. Mitch McConnell, who's had active strokes. All of the geriatric members of Congress are going to be ousted within the next year. They will be deemed physically unfit to hold duty, and they will be thrown out of Congress. An emergency election will happen, and oh my God, they got replaced by a Republican. Again. Or the Democrat seat held by very key individuals was magically now held by a young Republican. Guys, they already have, like I said before, they already have a royal flush. Those few Republican voices that have been dissenting a little bit will be drowned out by the majority. The Democrats are fucked. They're not going to get voted for. Yeah. That's right, Emily. I'm glad you got the reference. There you go, Rox. Thank you. I haven't read it yet, so I didn't want to say definitively yes or no. Yeah. Guys, this is this is the worst case scenario, because here's what's going to happen. Right. Aubrey's predicting, and I love that. I love that Pollyanna prediction that this is going to create a progressive blue wave for the next 20 years. I'm predicting the opposite. Okay. Because Democrats don't ever fucking fight. They don't fight dirty. They don't fight clean. They don't fight. They try to just have, real reasonable, just nice talks with everybody about, like, guys, there's rules. We got to follow the rules. We can't let this happen. It's happened. Let it happen. It already is. Okay. When I watch the congressional hearings and I watch fucking Cory Booker complimenting fucking Marco fucking Rubio on being such a knowledgeable, it's already happened. The Democrats have fucking Harry carried themselves, and they are completely ineffectual. There's a few who are still fighting. There's like a very small handful. And they're mostly all women, with the exception of Jamie Raskin, who's like, I got brain cancer. I'm gonna fucking die. I'm going out fighting. Okay. But like, with the exception of very few Democrats, they've all bent the knee already. Oh, they're going to negotiate. They're going to go round and round. They're going to like blah, blah, blah. Fuck that shit. And then people like me who've been lifelong Democrats are going to be like, why am I voting for you again? You did fucking nothing. The Democratic Party is going to fucking fall apart. It's going to be gone. That's what the result of this next Trump administration is going to be. The two-party system will be gone. It will be a one-party or your fucking commie system. You'll get to vote like they do in Russia and Iran when it's already pre-decided. Get to show up. Look at me, guys. I'm doing the voting. I'm going to put, here's my ballot. I'm so excited. Of course I voted for Putin. Of course I did. I love Putin. Hey. That's where we're headed, guys. Aubrey, yeah, go ahead. Let's do it. Who are we primarying? Go back and look at the electoral map. I'll pull it up right now. Let's go back. Let's look at it. Okay. This is the map I'm talking about. Okay. This is why none of those things are going to happen, Aubrey. This is an electoral map of the counties, each individual county, and how it ended up in the vote. Take a good hard look at that map. That is America. That is America. Why did not one Democrat make a statement yesterday after these 200 executive orders were issued in defiance of them? I don't hear it. Where are you? Where are you, Democrats? Where are you? Did one person talk about how we're going to protect people? Has one Democratic governor stood up and said, I'm protecting everybody? Tina Kotek here tried to before the election was decided. Right? But guys, that is America. We need to understand this is the country we live in. We don't live in some other fake utopian bullshit where people have equal rights and an equal say. We haven't lived there for quite some time, okay? We really haven't. Not since the 2000 election. We have not lived in that country. The 2000 election with the hanging chads and Al Gore fucking rolling over like a dog to just not challenge it, not take it to the Supreme Court, not demand a recount. That was the end. That was the literal end of the Democratic Party at that moment. We have not recovered from that. We barely made it out of, Junior Bush and his wars into Barack Obama, which was built on hope and promise. And we didn't get half of the ship that he hoped and promised us into. Barely recovered from an actual another depression that we were afraid to call a depression. So we're just going to rebrand it with marketing into a recession. It was a fucking depression. It was worse than the Great Depression. Okay? Economically, let's be fucking real. Okay? And then followed by Barack Obama, we have Trump, who laid the groundwork for 8 years of Obama's presidency for what you see today. He has been campaigning to create this since 2008. Actually, earlier than that, 2007. Almost, guys, almost 20 years. Think about that. It took Trump, we'll give him 16 years to create that you see right there. Yeah, but so many levels. Who gives a fuck that a lot of people live in those areas? They are going to be stampeded by those areas of people who don't have a lot of people. Because here's the deal. I live in this little teeny blue area right here. That's where I live. In that little blue spot. But you know what? Inside that little blue spot where I live, do you want to know how many Trump flags are up in my neighborhood? You know how many people drive around in big ass fucking trucks with a Trump flag bigger than their whole fucking Trump truck? Hundreds. I am surrounded in that little tiny blue spot. I am surrounded by maggots. Surrounded. So these blue spots are also a lie. Okay, good. Well, I'm glad Dick Durbin spoke up. Thank you. I didn't turn it into C-SPAN today. Okay? So even this map is not accurate. It's just red. It's just fucking red. Okay? Like, that's where we live. Because if these blue spots were actually blue, I wouldn't see no MAGA shit in my neighborhood. I wouldn't see no fucking maggots here. Kids in my kids' schools wouldn't be talking about America first and fuck fuck Gaza and whatever the fuck they're talking about. The blue spots are fake. The cake is a lie. Let's all come to the realization that we are in the shitstorm. We're in it. There is no Luke Skywalker. There is no fucking external force coming to save us. It's not happening. Oh no, Aubrey, we good. We're on the same level. I am far less optimistic than you. You know, like I'm just not, no. Yeah, a lot of people have been saying that for a lot of years, so many levels, that there needs to be a revolution. I don't know what's going to happen. There will be a civil war. I know what side I'll be fighting on. But yeah, we are in, and the rest of the world spent 16 hours celebrating our absence from TikTok because they couldn't fucking stand that we were the dominant force on a foreign app. If you don't believe me, let's go to TikTok real quick here. Let's go to TikTok. Okay, you guys want to see some shit? You want to see what people really think about America? Let's do it. I'm going to put up my disclaimer here. I'm in the wrong thing. We're going to share these. All you have to search for is while America was gone. I'm not signed in. Please hold. I told you guys I did all my things. Signing in. I had to make a puzzle. I'm logged in now.
My American people, come, I want to snitch. So while you guys were gone from this app, a lot of people tried to take over. My American people, come, I want to snitch. So while you guys were gone from this app, a lot of people tried to take over this app and act like they are the new bosses in town. And I want to start calling them out, okay? Number one, Canadians try to act like this, like they're the you know, they were saying, okay, they went on live and they were saying, oh, this is our time to shine, you know, and I'm also guilty. Forgive me, Americans, I was also guilty. I made a video a couple hours ago and it backfired, okay? And then Nigerians were dancing, shaking their bum. They were having freedom in your absence. People from Jamaica, they were fishing, posting fishing videos. Every time I scroll, I'll see a picture of somebody in Trinidad, Jamaica. They were throwing dogs inside the river and swimming with dogs. People in the UK were there singing, you know, you man thing, man. The people in Australia were posting pictures
They
of kangaroos,
celebrated
big,
it.
scary kangaroos. That was what they were doing in your app.
So they're gone, as you may have noticed. The Americans are no longer here. Now, does anybody else feel like this was a, well, where were you moment? I think both for Americans and for, you know, English-speaking non-Americans, I think we will all remember, like, what we were doing when TikTok got banned. At least I will, because I'm so heavily integrated into the space. Is that just me? Is that just the weird feeling I'm getting about this? Like, I'll remember what I...
Guys, the Americans are officially gone, and this is my first video on this app without them. I don't like it. If you're able to watch this video right now on your screen, please tell me where you are in the world. Please tell me where you are, because literally half of my audience
I
was
commented
American,
right there.
So I have no idea who I'm even speaking to right now. Even I, who's known as the bitch that can't stop talking, want to be alone on British TikTok. I'm sorry if that makes me sound like a traitor, but I'm going to miss my American mutuals. I'm not going to lie. It's honestly to the extent to where people would constantly mistake me for being American, even though in my opinion I have a very obviously British accent. But I know that I can't be the only one that's actually ensured that they actually went through on their plans to actually...
Now that Americans are gone, get off that feed. There's a new petition in my bio, guys.
She's back. Yeah.
You know what would be hilarious is while the Americans are gone, because I think they're going to come back. So while they're gone, I think we, as a collective, we should come up with a word, like a slang that we should be using, that's something that they wouldn't know.
So before the Americans come back on this app, I want y'all to know that the Canadians are talking hella shit while you were gone, okay?
So TikTok got shut down for about 12, 14 hours, somewhere in there. During that time period, what happened? Does anybody know? Well, I'll tell you what happened. The trend started of now the Americans are gone.
Mm-hmm.
Australia, England, New Zealand, Canada, they're like, hey, top of the morning to you. Guess what? The Americans are gone. What are we going to do now? Oh, I don't know. This is our time to shine.
Yeah.
So the Americans are gone from TikTok. What does that mean for like the rest of us? I'm Canadian. As sad as it is for the Americans that they don't have TikTok anymore, I feel bad for them. I can't help but think that there will be some kind of gap left for the rest of us to kind of fill whoever else is on TikTok. I mean,
Now that Americans are gone, I'm slightly concerned I might be landing on very awkward feeds. So if you by any chance get to see this, can you please comment what country you're in? I speak multiple languages, but I'm so much more comfortable on the English-speaking side of TikTok. I don't...
No, for real, because I did not know. I knew that everybody thought Americans was like Sadidi and better than thou. I knew they thought that, right? But I guess I thought that was like a thing of the past. I thought that like in the club on TikTok we was all fam. So I was very shocked when I came back and it was like, since the Americans are gone. What? I thought y'all loved it. Y'all said y'all was following us. Y'all was lying. Why did y'all lie like that? Why did y'all say y'all...
Mm-hmm. What you just like about it, this girl's holding KFC.
The Americans are already back. All that drama, all that build up, for what? For them to be banned for less than 24 hours.
Yeah. I mean, like all of TikTok was literally, no, the Americans are back. They're like, the Americans are so happy. But if you notice, your TikTok feed is completely different now. Let's go back to TikTok. Go try to find, and this is what's happening on Facebook. This is what's happening everywhere. Let's go search for politics. Okay. It's very different. than it was before. A lot of the channels like left. They didn't come back. Yeah. I wonder if we can find the UFOs. Flying orbs. Do they scrub all that? Yeah, now it's mostly ads. See?
A woman captured something strange on her backyard security camera.
I don't know what that is. Yeah, things are just... Oh, TikTok is totally trolly at the best of times. Stretch. Do you know how many Americans make all of their money on TikTok? Doing those fucking dances and shit. Look up Randy Rainbow on TikTok. Did he go? Is he gone? Did they take him off? They better not have. Oh, no, he's there. Oh, that's the Randy Rainbow podcast. There's Randy Rainbow. He's still here. Yeah, no, he's fabulous. Randy Rainbow makes everything better. He makes everything better. I love him. Yeah. Anyway. Now we're in the weeds, guys. Anyway, I apologize. It's happening. It's happening, guys. It's happening. That thing, that you were worried about, that you were concerned about, that you thought, that's never going to happen in my lifetime. It can't possibly. We're going to be, it's back temporarily. Also, CapCut's finally back for those of you who edit things with CapCut, which is, thank God for that for me, because I had already paid for the whole fucking pro. It wasn't like I was getting a refund from CapCut. Yeah. So CapCut's back. Those things are back. All right, guys, I'm going to go fix dinner. We're having chicken pot pie and some rolls tonight. We'll be back. We'll be back tomorrow to do some more tomorrow afternoon. I'm pre-recording another episode with Esoteric Atlanta. You guys can find me there. We did a part 1 interview. Tomorrow we're going to record an in-depth interview that should be interesting. All right, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for all of the memberships, for the support, for the love. I cannot do this without you guys. I appreciate it. Yeah, I did see your question about the shadow cabinet. The answer here is it would never happen, Tazzy. I think it might be a good idea to have checks and balances, but we don't believe in that here. All right, guys. I love you. Take care of each other. Be kind when you can. And fight the power, y'all. Fight the fucking power. Thank you so much for tuning into this episode of Oh No, Merica. I'm your host, Nora Ames. Hopefully this day has been informative, fun, and giving you a little sparkle of Merica. Thank you to my mods, as always, for keeping things cool, chill. And if you guys want some of that sweet, sweet merch, hit us up at ohnomerica.com. Current events and headlines that blow your mind. Only on Oh No America you'll find.